Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Nautical Explosion. 5 Elders, how many divisions do you have? Chapter 41. The taverns of the kingdom of Arnov were filled with laughter. People talk about the recent harvest. People who once had nothing were given the fields. Many fields are wastelands. In the past, when the noble lords controlled it, they rarely paid attention to it. But if someone reclaims the wasteland without permission, the nobles had to jump out and collect various fees. As a result, many people starved to death. But there is still no land to cultivate. Even the basic problem of food and clothing cannot be solved. But since the Allied takeover, this phenomenon has been completely changed. There is a land for everyone. The bullying of men and women was in this period of Allied rule. It's a death penalty. You know, there are many evil pirates on the sea. The world government still has the law of catching as much as you can alive. Available in the kingdom of Arnov. The crime of homicide is basically defined as the death penalty. The people's sense of security has been greatly enhanced. In a few years, the recognition of the Allied forces by the people of the Arnov kingdom has reached the highest. Words of praise can be heard everywhere. Even at night, parents are assured to let their children go out alone. They believed that as long as the Allies were in this country one day, they are safe. During this period, any pirates who tried to invade the kingdom of Arnov, not even the port landed. It was cleared by the Allies. Guillaume looked at the kingdom like a dream. She was immersed in this ideal country. Like a sleepwalker, if not seen with your own eyes. She couldn't believe it at all. There is a country in this world that gives people such a sense of security. In a world where curfews are imposed in almost all countries, there are places where children can travel at night. It's like a fairy tale. On a typical night, the most active group of people in the kingdom are soldiers, thieves, pirates, hunters. Most civilians are basically closed. Syllable. A little girl ran and ran. Suddenly, he accidentally bumped into Guillaume, a sleepwalking patient. Sister, I'm sorry. I treat you to ice cream. The little girl looked up and apologized politely. At the same time, he handed the ice cream in his hand to Guillaume. It's okay. Guillaume woke up like a dream and dotingly touched her little head. Ah, the little girl suddenly exclaimed. Your Majesty Ray Ren. It's really Your Majesty Ren. The little girl said excitedly. Do you know this big brother? Guillaume asked curiously. Even if he is the head of a country, he does not even know his children. I know. Dad enshrines pictures of His Majesty Ren at home, and sometimes puts my homework book on it, saying that he can bless me with passing my studies. The little girl said innocently. Your Majesty Ray Ren, will you bless me with passing the next exam? The little girl looked at Ren wistfully. Ren was a little stunned. What the hell is it to put a photo offering? I'm still alive, and he himself was a scumbag. How can you bless someone else to pass the exam? Ren was a little unresponsive at once. Looking at the somewhat demented Ren, Guillaume couldn't help but smile. Is there something that can make him show this look of fear? Did you read? Do you have schools here? Guillaume came down and asked the little girl gently. She forgot how long. I didn't see such a pure child smile. In this day and age, many children are orphans. He is also very precocious, and he encountered many wars when he was young. Smiles, in this day and age, are not easy to see even in children. And the girl looks like she should be a civilian. But it seems to have already read. In this era of lack of education, this is an extremely rare thing. Yes, wasn't the school built by His Majesty Ren on the order of His Majesty? Are you really His Majesty Ren? It won't just look the same. Why didn't the sister around me even know about this? The little girl looked at Ren and Guillaume suspiciously. Of course my sister knows, I was testing you just now. Guillaume naturally took over the words. Hey, I've failed several times. Don't worry, study hard, you can always pass. Ren comforted insincerely. Of course, he knows that some people are born scumbags. Words of comfort, he himself did not believe. Aha, great, I'll go back and tell my parents that His Majesty Ren has blessed me, and I will definitely pass next time, The little girl bounced away. Quote. Ren was silent. Seeing this, Guillaume couldn't help but hide his mouth and chuckle. What are you laughing at? Laugh at you as if you were facing a great enemy. Let's go to the kingdom of Goya. Ren said angrily. And when they leave, On a certain main street in the kingdom of Arnov, a blind uncle walked out of a casino. I lost again, but this time it seems to be just pure bad luck. It seems that it has been bad luck recently, although the money was lost. But this blind uncle smiled. It's been a long time since I lost money by luck. I have lost money many times before, mostly because of artificial relationships. A casino that doesn't bully the blind. It's rare. Dressed in clogs and armed with a staff knife, he explored the road ahead. There was laughter in my ears. He couldn't see, but you can feel it more clearly with your heart. Someone in East Blue can govern the country so well, but I really want to meet the king here. With a smile, he asked passers-by where the palace was. But it's a pity to be stopped. Uncle, Our Majesty has not seen guests recently. If you are temporarily homeless because of inconvenient eyesight, I will let you take you to the orphanage first. The soldier in charge of guarding the palace said. Ren left the kingdom of Arnif. In order not to cause a commotion, it is natural to call it a guest to the outside world. I don't have any money. A truthful smile. In this country, it is difficult for him to catch 1 or 2 bounty criminals for bounty money. I came here for a few days, but I didn't meet any of them. It's incredible. Orphanages don't need money, they are built by the state for free. Oh, and this kind of good thing. Of course, what Our Majesty hopes most is that the old will have something to rely on, the young to recuperate, the sick to be treated, and the teacher to teach, the soldier said proudly. He was a native of the Arnif kingdom. Life is now compared to before. It's a world of difference. To protect such a life. He just went from bounty hunter to a janitor. I was stunned with a smile, and my heart was quite shocked. I didn't expect that a doorman would understand this concept. This made Yi Xiao more and more curious about this king. But since there are no guests for the time being, he can't force it either. It seems that my luck is really bad today, let's come back next time. A smile slowly turned away. The back is as leisurely as a fresh breeze. He hadn't been so relaxed in a long time. For many years, everywhere I went, there were dirty and despicable people. But today, it seems, encountered an extraordinary light. Time is running out to take the kingdom of Goa. It is impossible to be a kingdom like Arnov. But the fear in people's hearts has disappeared into a positive spirit of struggle. Because the entire kingdom of nobility was almost emptied by Ren. Maintaining a kingdom now requires all kinds of talents. This is not the best thing to do with explosive troops alone. Therefore, electing talents from the civilian population has become an indispensable part. Don't look at the background, don't ask about origin. This makes many people with some skills eager to try this country, but out of Ace, Luffy, Sabo, Dragons, Garp and other talents. Ren also hopes to discover some potential people. After Gion arrived, there is no doubt about Ren's determination to change the world. At least in terms of people's livelihood. He did indeed do an impeccable job. Even far beyond her requirements for an ideal country. There were many laws that she had never thought of. Everything you see is nothing but a dream bubble. I know. Gion understood what Ren meant. This kind of kingdom that runs counter to the morality of the world government. The world government will not allow them to exist. Now Ren is on the horizons of the world government. Once defeated and captured, the prosperity of these kingdoms will cease to exist. The whole ideal country is based on the person Ren. But even if it is reasonable, she knows the facts. But Marine is her sibling brother. She was really able to live her ideal life. For true justice. And leave everything behind. Perhaps the royal family and aristocracy have completely decayed. But Marine didn't. They are still on the front line. It's just this struggle. It looks sad now, because they sometimes help and do not know it. It is also possible to take your own life for an absurd order. Even if I help you, not all Marine can understand, in their opinion, criminals are criminals. I see, you are afraid of making enemies of your own people, this is easy to solve. Ren knew from Gion's words. The center of this woman's mind has shifted to her side. This is also a matter of course. After getting to know her basic nature from Ren, he couldn't even think of a chance of failure. Very easy to solve. Gion was stunned for a moment. This is a difference in thought. It should be the hardest part to solve. It's impossible to take every Marine and let them see the kingdom of Arnov. Even if you look at it, some Marine may not be able to recognize it. In some Marines' opinion, a criminal is a criminal. Even if you build something good, they will also be paranoid that it is a kind of deception. I don't need you to fight head-on for me, you can continue to fight the pirates, which will stabilize most of the Marine, and a small number of stubborn Marine. I have a special way. Ren smiled slightly. His mind controller is not vegetarian. Under the general trend, you are willing to obey, that gives you a certain freedom, this is no problem. If they don't want to obey, Ren will help them obey. In a sense, when many Marine are not enemies of him. When you can listen to his orders to fight pirates. These are Marines who should have been his enemies. It doesn't exist, and most importantly, at critical moments, this can shake the faith and morale of the entire Marine headquarters soldiers. This is the most deadly. Spiritual beliefs are shaken once shaken. It's too hard to go back. In this way, the battle with the largest department of the world government. Ren actually won half of it without a fight. You can still make the overly aggressive Marine obey. Also, so many people are willing to die voluntarily for you, but how do you do it? Guion didn't believe it. Think of those that are meant to create a little opportunity. You can hold the explosive pack before the servant and send the self-detonating soldier to death one after another. She didn't completely deny it. It may be difficult to understand just saying, let's speak with facts. Do you have any people who are particularly unhappy, but forced by their position and unable to make a move? Ren asked. Guion was lost in thought. Of course there are such people. But do you really want to be his person so hastily? She thought of the kingdoms just now. The scales are indeed tilted in favor of the allies. But in that case, Marine, the identity she has fought for all her life, has to give up. This is not an easy decision. She had to make sure she wasn't hot-headed. Rather, it is through the most rational analysis. Now her brain is working. Didi. At that moment, Ren communicator suddenly sounded. Ren connects. A voice soon came from the opposite side. Report Lord Ren, we encountered the celestial dragons on Victoria Island, is it a battle or a retreat? Please indicate. Quote. Hearing this, Guion's heart was shocked. They encountered the celestial dragons. Ren glanced at the squad number. It was one of the 10 squads that were released during the day. These 10 squads are equivalent to frontline cannon fodder. Unless it's something very important. Otherwise it won't bother Ren. This is clearly the case right now. Details of the report. Celestial dragons came to this island and was bullying a woman in the street because a child forgot to kneel. Celestial dragons got angry and shot him in the abdomen. About to die, the woman tried to save the child, but was besieged. The Allied commander gave a brief report on the situation. You can hear that the situation is urgent. How is the child? Can it be saved? It can be rescued in 3 minutes, and beyond this time, it will be completely dead and cannot be healed. I was trying to use someone as a test object, and someone hit the muzzle. Anyway, the Marine headquarters is now too busy to separate, and celestial dragons are the rulers of this world, so touch this tiger's butt and test the reaction of the world government. Quote. Ren had a decision in his heart. But he didn't act immediately. Instead, he looked at Guion. Do you think we should save? Quote. Ren took out the tablet and brought it up. Hand the tablet to Guion. The picture above is the same as in the report at the moment. Celestial dragons, wearing a bubble hood, is slapped in the face of a heroic and beautiful girl at this moment. Angrily rebuked her for not knowing what to do. At his feet, lying a little girl, dying. Guion is once again cornered by Ren. Don't save. Just watch this girl die. Save. It was completely tied to the same ship as this man. And against the celestial dragons. Celestial dragons is a mountain across all Marine, all official departments. But now she didn't have much time to hesitate. A choice must be made at this time. She knew he was waiting for an attitude of his own. At this time, psychologically, she couldn't touch it. Start up against celestial dragons. It's a bit too exciting. Help. But in the end, conscience overcame the fear of authority. Good. Ren nodded calmly. The surrounding chrono teleporters teleported again. Guion thought that after saying this word, she would collapse. But no, it was a relief, even excitement. Now you've made your choice. She finally doesn't have to bear the torment of choice anymore. Victoria Island. Celestial dragons when they show off their might. The people on the ground were kneeling, bowing their heads, shivering, and did not dare to resist. But in the nearby alley, At this moment, an extremely beautiful woman is bursting into flames. At this moment, her face full of anger. Celestial dragons, fat pigs, dare to treat our Amazon female warriors like this. I'm going to slaughter him. Quote, Sister Sama, you can't do it. As soon as we get started, the world government and Marine headquarters will not let us go. Marine Admiral will too. Sandersonia and Mary Groot hugged their sister tightly. Boa Hancock and his party had initially planned to make a minor retouching at Dressrosa. Add some more resources, then return to the first half through the Fishmen Island. Such a distance is very dangerous for ordinary pirates. But for a long-established Shichibukai, just a normal journey. But not long ago they saw Marine clash with the Allies in Dressrosa. Adhering to the principle that more is better than less, they took a slight detour. That's why you can stop at Victoria Island, the island rich in the second food city. But Hancock never dreamed of it. Celestial dragons came to the island. As soon as I got this news, I felt some kind of fear and dark memories in my heart. I couldn't help but feel like I was in my heart. Hancock knew he was cowardly. In the face of the world aristocracy, celestial dragons. Although she is angry and resentful, she is also afraid. This mountain represents the pinnacle of world power. It was so overwhelming that she couldn't breathe for the whole life. She thought she would never meet those disgusting guys again in her life. But fate seems to have played a joke on her. But this time, Hancock wasn't going to give anyone a joke to watch. Although aversion to hatred, but she knew that once such a behemoth provoked, it will bring disaster to Nine Snake Island. Especially this celestial dragon still has some relationship with the celestial dragons who originally kept their sisters in captivity. It was a pervert that took pleasure in killing slaves. At the time, the celestial dragons were still very small. But with a knife, he ended the lives of one slave after another. I still shudder when I think about it. Even if Hancock knew it. With his current strength, it's easy to kill him. But the thought of this guy's bloodthirsty pervert interest. She can still feel her fear. But before Hancock could leave silently, a child rammed him, William Street. Then he was shot by William Street. A female warrior in the team couldn't stand it and stepped forward. In order not to involve Lord Snake G. Before she made a move, she told Snake G and them to get out of here as soon as possible. Because she knew that even if she really succeeded in saving this little girl, waiting for her behind is also a wanted warrant and pursuit. But some people, knowing that they can't do something, still do it. It's stupidity, but it's also courage. And the Amazon female warrior who shot failed to leave. Caught by the celestial dragon's guards at the moment. William Street is ravaging the woman who dares to disobey him, does not kneel in front of him, and tries to save people. Since the events of Sabayati Archipelago, the guards around them celestial dragons have increased. After all, the noble celestial dragons. I don't want to be threatened by a pirate fat beating like Charo's saint. It's not bad, as long as you promise to be my number 57 wife, I can spare your life, your face is red, it's really good looking. William Street looked at the fingerprints he had printed on the face of the female warrior Aisha, looking very satisfied. When Hancock saw this, he couldn't help it immediately. Listen to this familiar word. Her head exploded. Desperate to take out these celestial dragons. And then escape. But Sandersonia and Mary Groot couldn't have let their sister do that. Doing so will only provoke you in the end. So they tried to stop the enraging Hancock. Elsa decided to act from the beginning. There is a plan to sacrifice. She followed her inner voice, probably regretting it. But they can't really match the world government. This is a disregard for the world government summoning orders and taking out a group of Marine. The meaning is completely different. After initial anger out of control and the strong persuasion of two younger sisters, Hancock's sanity slowly returns, gradually stops struggling. Aisha, this idiot, let's go. Hancock knew he was making a move. In the end, it will only lead to more sisters suffering bad luck. But she couldn't stay to see what happened to Aisha. Aisha, that idiot, we are obviously pirates. Do what you do. It's so stupid. Hancock could only stiffen his head and hold back his tears of cowardice. The two younger sisters saw that their sister gradually calmed down, only to breathe a sigh of relief. They actually know that Aisha is a powerful subordinate that her sister is very optimistic about. I have a good relationship with my sister. But in this case, there is nothing they can do. Change an object, even 4 emperors, sisters and adults can shoot directly. But the other party is the world aristocracy celestial dragons. A suffocating presence just by mentioning a name. Hancock turns his head and prepares to leave. Sandersonia's 2 sisters also helplessly and distressed to look at the sisters who fell into the hands of celestial dragons. Lord Wren, the shells have been calibrated. The ammunition is reduced by 2/3, the landing is loud, and the power is small, which should be able to scare away the people around. 4 blocks away from the main street where celestial dragons are located. Ren Guion has been teleported to the New World Island, just a few days away from Dressrosa, via the Chrono Force. Of course, these days, it is calculated by the ancient sailing ship of this sea. Do you really want to do something to the celestial dragons? Guion still felt the tension of a long absence. This is the nobility of the world. Sooner or later, there is nothing to hesitate. Fire. Ren was as calm as water. Guion is even a little incomprehensible. That's the nobility of the world. Represents the orthodox ruler. For a long time, many arrogant pirates did not dare to make a move against the Holy Land. Even those who dare to attack the headquarters of Marine. The world government is also extremely jealous. But he didn't seem to hesitate to be afraid of ghost films. He seems to be at odds with everyone in this world. As if fearless. Yes, sir. Fluffy. As Hancock turns his head, Williams gets closer and closer to Aisha, and the civilians bow their heads. The continuous sound of cannons suddenly sounded. It's harsh. More than a dozen black shells flew in from all directions. With a piercing sonic boom, it accurately hits the tall buildings on both sides of the main street. With the sound of explosions, the roofs of buildings burst apart. The rubble flew around, and everyone present was shocked. Protect Williams Street. The celestial dragon's guards reacted quickly. What kind of madman is this? Don't take us with you if you want to die. Dare to launch an artillery attack on the celestial dragons, and you are not afraid to attract Marine Admiral. A kneeling pirate scolded in horror. Shelling. Run. Although everyone was forced by the lewd power of the celestial dragons, they had to kneel. But as soon as the shelling sounded, the first person instinctively began to flee. Others immediately screamed and got up and ran away. These impudent fellows, did I get you up? Williams Street. See this. First of all, I didn't worry about my own safety. Instead, I feel that the majesty and face of being a celestial dragons have been provoked. He immediately pulled out his pistol and shot several civilians with a bang. Seeing this, everyone ran faster. Get out of this island quickly. Medea, something big is going to happen. A pirate captain smelled something keenly. Someone attacked celestial dragons. Hancock's sapphire-like watery eyes suddenly froze. There are still such maniacs in this world. These pariahs. I'm going to burn you all to ashes. Williams Street is still furious. The guards also glared around. As a celestial dragon's guard. Although they occasionally meet guys who can't open their eyes. Dare to bombard the celestial dragons with cannons. This is the first time. Call Marine Admiral for me, and I'm going to burn all these guys who don't know etiquette. Williams Street looked at the people who ran out in an instant. Feel humiliated yourself. Meanwhile, nearby Marine base received reports of attacks on celestial dragons. When the shells sounded, an escort informed the nearest Marine base. Who is it? The guards were on guard. They could hear neat and powerful steps approaching from all directions. Don't dare to be careless in the slightest. But anyone who dares to take a shot at celestial dragons. All are crazy. Take people down for treatment. At the end of the street, several figures came up. Yes, Allied soldiers came out of the side street and approached the girl on the ground. What do you want to do? The leader of the celestial dragon's guard snapped. But no one replied to him. 1 and 2 like this, kneel for me. Williams Street was furious. Look at these untouchables and see yourself as the descendant of the Creator. Dare not kneel. Immediately pulled out a pistol. Without even thinking about it, he pulled the trigger in the direction Ren was walking. Ren didn't fight back, because his marksmanship is so bad. Can't hit yourself. But the Allied snipers in the shadows fired at the same time. Bang bang. Dense bullets instantly poured over like a storm. Ah, the untouchable celestial dragon's guards were caught by such extremely fast and lethal bullets. Knocked out a piece in an instant. Iron body. But those who fall are the weak. There are dozens of guards left, all Grandmaster 6 style. They create a protective circle. Carry bullets from all sides with the 6-type iron body. Poof. Most people resisted this round of bullets. But there are also people who can't fully resist. Shot through the body. One of the bullets slipped through William Saint's face. Bring a splash of blood. William Street was stunned. Then he screamed, "Ah, blood. I'm bleeding." Quote, he was angry and terrified. What's more is unbelievable. Do these guys really dare to kill themselves? No, impossible, absolutely impossible. I am the god of this world. Who dares to kill themselves? The escort force is much stronger than I thought. A chill grew deep in Ren's eyes. Guillaume stepped out from the side and took Elsa in her hands with the girl. Swiftly retreat. Give them to the Allied soldiers. Momoshige Vice Admiral. And Guillaume made a move. The head of the escort recognized her immediately. Suddenly looked shocked. Was it Marine? Ah, what are you all doing? Kill them all for me. Or I'll kill your whole family. William Street has never felt pain. At this moment, just the bruise made him almost crazy in pain. Hear the words of William Street. The guards' faces changed, but they had to turn defense into attack. Allied soldiers have appeared in all directions. I see, it's better for you to kneel for me. Ren words fall. Hands slightly outstretched. Click. All around, towers of light prismatic towers rose up. Each tower shimmers with metallic luster and streamers. Capable people. Everyone be careful. The head of the escort was shocked. Although the situation has been reported to Marine headquarters, the island's Marine will immediately come to help. But it will also take a little time. Marshal Sengoku, who received the news at the headquarters of Marine, was confused at once. Someone attacked celestial dragons. At this time, one head is too big. Marine Admiral is all about preparation. World Government 5 elders also had a headache. How can this happen at such a time? But soon the 5 elders calmed down. Because they learned that it was William Street who was attacked. William Saint has the power to launch Buster Call. That golden phone worm was asked for from me after the Charos Saint incident. I didn't expect it to really come in handy. Have these vicious guys forgotten who is the master of this world? Quote, let the guards and Marines pay attention to the safety of William Saint, and let the rest be handled by William Saint. The fastest report only said that they had been attacked. But I don't know who the attacker is. But since William Street has Buster Call in his hands, New World has many Marine bases close by. Self-protection should be sufficient. There is no need to send Marine Admiral. Can destroy the general national combat power. Enough to clean up those thugs. Airplanes. The towers of light prism started one after another, roaring slightly. Streamers condense from the bottom to the spire. The more light particles gather, the more they gather. A tipping point was soon reached. Whoosh! A dense laser beam shoots out. With penetration, extreme speed, and terrible lethality. Poof, poof. Although the escort strength is strong, they are basically strong people at the general level. But the beam emitted by the light prism tower still easily penetrated the bodies of many of them. Only a few 4 people can dodge or block this wave of beams. How come? What are you all doing with all this waste? Kill them. Looking at the guards who are almost invincible in peacetime. One by one fell at the moment. William Saint's body was trembling with fear. It turns out that they will also be afraid. Hancock looked on stunned. There are only 4 guards left. They no longer attacked, but protected William Street. William Street. If he were dead, even if they kill all the enemies, there is no point. Stop. At this time, the island's rear admiral came with a large number of Marine to kill. But the Marine forces were stopped by the Allied forces. There was a battle between the two sides 2 or 3 streets away. Seeing this, Rear Admiral could only cross the conflict zone alone. Go straight to the place where William Street was attacked. Hear about celestial dragons being attacked on his turf. He was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. Celestial dragons, you can't go wrong on his turf. He stepped on moonwalk and raced at a speed he had never seen in his life. Momoshige Vice Admiral, what's going on? Rear Admiral could see the two sides at a glance. But shouldn't Momoshige Vice Admiral be on their side? Guillaume didn't answer, just looked at Ren. How do we end now? Catch William Street to negotiate terms with the world government. It's still time to retreat. Anyway, People have already been saved. Only, why do you have to expose yourself? If only to save people. He should be able to do it too. And in secret, won't he have a greater role in the future? She didn't quite understand what Ren was thinking at the moment. Keep attacking, take them. Ren said expressionlessly. Protect William Street, the head of the guard said to Rear Admiral. Rear Admiral quickly landed next to William Street. Yes, I Carrot and the Golden Phone Worm, you guys, all have to die. At this time, William Street suddenly remembered something. The next second took out a golden phone bug from his arms. The golden phone bug that launched Buster Call. Guion, Rear Admiral, the leader of the guards, and Hancock in the shadows all looked horrified. None of them expected celestial dragons, who have never been interested in controlling troops, unexpectedly took out such a dangerous thing with him. Can't let him start the Buster Call, Guion said nervously. With her strength, although she could not resist Buster Call's firepower head-on. But to leave, the average Marine Vice Admiral alone could not stop her. Buster Call once launched, for any island, definitely an extinction disaster. The Buster Call warship launched indiscriminate bombing attacks. Bomb until there are no living creatures on the entire island. The entire island will be wiped off the map. It is the minimum war that requires Marine Admiral to be eligible to wage war. If it is really launched, the inhabitants of this island may be completely annihilated. How did the world government give this kind of thing to the celestial dragons? Not that celestial dragons aren't qualified. Rather, in terms of military operations, more professional fighters should be put in charge. So this telephone bug is generally owned by Admiral or the Marshal. But now William Saint has it. Is war such a child's play? What the hell do those old men in the world government think? Guion rushed towards William Saint. But no matter how fast she is, she can't be faster than William Street with a pressed action. With a click, the golden phone bug rang. The golden phone bug is not only different in appearance. It has super anti-interference. And can send signal coordinates to the silver phone bug that receives the signal. Even if it's in a hurry. Failed to explain the situation to Marine headquarters. It can also be successfully launched. Oops. Hancock didn't expect that. He was just curious and stayed a little longer. Just be involved in this kind of incident. Buster Call was launched. Ren just watched, didn't stop it. Just Buster Call launched. Marine Admiral didn't seem to be coming. What kind of threat is that? Firepower, hee. Originally after taking Guion, he's going to take action against these Marines. Now send it to your door. I also saved myself a few more trips. I'm William Street and attack Victoria Island at once. Kill all these untouchables. The golden phone worm dialed. William Street said impatiently, could you please explain the details? What do you mean, Marine? I will attack if you let you attack. What right do you pariahs have to ask me? William Street was full of anger. Yes and yes. Marshal Sengoku could not stop it. 5 elders has acquiesced. Just less than 10 seconds. Marshal Sengoku ordered the nearest Marine base. Draw 5 Marine Vice Admiral, 10 top warships, and more than 8,000 Marine elites. Perform Buster Call. Several Marine bases, at the same time received the command. 2 Vice Admirals at G5 bases, Virgo and Sterez, were the first to receive the order. The army is on the verge of war with Whitebeard. Fear that Whitebeard will make a move. And in order to rush to the Marine headquarters in these days. They are always ready for battle. Now as soon as I receive the Buster Call command to launch. With a solemn expression, the alarm of the base sounded for the first time. Gather troops quickly. Young master, are you really not there? Virgo Vice Admiral stood at the bow of the boat. The eyes were filled with sadness and madness. Launch Buster Call at such a time, what do the people above think? Although Whitebeard is old, it does not mean that it can be despised. Barry Vice Admiral, who was also at New World, muttered to herself expressionlessly. Only they are the ones who guard New World. I learned that Whitebeard guy, no matter how old he is, never to be underestimated. Before the war with Whitebeard, every effort should be made to avoid extraneous branches. Didn't expect it at this time. Instead, Buster Call was launched. But as soon as he received the order, he was relieved. They launched Buster Call before. To rescue the celestial dragons on Victoria Island first. Since it's related to celestial dragons. That's easy to understand. The rest of the Marine base has also received orders. They quickly communicated and formed a demon-slaying fleet. You're finished. Ha ha ha. It's all, Williams said triumphantly. Buzz. The light prism tower began to pressurize, and the laser beam ejected was not shot out at the first time. Instead, it hits other light prisms. Make an enhanced blend. Are you an idiot? Ren remained calm. Guion was originally a little panicked. See Ren expression. Not only why, but also a little more relieved. What did you say? William Street saw that someone dared to talk to him like that. I was so angry that I almost had a cerebral hemorrhage. Even if Buster Call is launched, no matter how fast it is, it will take a short time, and you can't hold out until then. Ren smiled contemptuously. The strength of this group of guards is not weak. But it's just not weak. There is not even a Vice Admiral level powerhouse in it. He wins in minutes. Whoosh. The prismatic tower suddenly emitted more than a dozen enhanced laser beams. Faster. The beam is thicker. The terrifying temperature emitted can instantly melt 100 refined steel. That's. Several celestial dragons guards in black quickly mobilized armament hockey. But it didn't work. The laser beam pierced their bodies directly. Even the Marine Rear Admiral couldn't get away in time. Pierced in the shoulder. He also wanted to stand up, and his body gradually changed towards the beast. He's a zone fruit ability. Tenacious vitality, excellent defense, and missed the point. So he hasn't fallen yet. But the next second, syllable, behind him, a faint gunshot sounded. A Seastone sniper bullet waited for a long time. Precision shot into his thigh. He screamed in grief and fell in response, his whole body weak. The whole conflict broke out in just a few minutes. It's over. You see, now you're left alone. Ren said lightly. Step by step, walk towards William Street. Get up, get up. Protect me, you can't do anything to me, I'm the queen of the gods of this world. Noise. It is precisely because of a mentally disabled person like you, corrupted by power, that peace cannot be brought in this world. Ren listened to him. It's irritable and disgusting to hear. Walk over and stomp his head under your feet. Seeing this, Guion's heart suddenly jumped. An ominous premonition welled up in my heart. How dare you? The face of William Saint, who was trampled under Ren's feet, was distorted. But the mouth is still hard. I'm not interested in torturing you, but I'm interested in breaking your will, and I'll have to wait for the Buster Call warship anyway, so I'll spend your time. Ren has seen many families and countries torn apart by heavenly gold. The old man's death was partly because of these high-ranking people. Completely do not care about the lives of the people. This is caused by the lack of a proper system. Ren pulled out a pistol and fired 2 shots in quick succession, breaking William Saint's legs. Blood immediately soaked the ground. Are you crazy? You'll bring disaster to the whole island. Rear Admiral tried to dissuade him. Although he was already tied up by the Allies. Think of the consequences of doing something to celestial dragons. His whole body trembled. If the celestial dragons were dead, the world government will go crazy. Ah, it hurts so much, I want you to have to die, and when reinforcements arrive, you will be my slave for the rest of your life. I will definitely torture you well. Quote. I can't tell the situation until now, but it's worth having fun. Ren looked down at him calmly. 2 more shots were fired, piercing his arms. Ren then stepped on the wounds in his feet. Williams immediately let out a pig-like scream. Ren calmly took out his communicator and said to the Allied commander who was transferring the army to the nearby sea at the moment, open your pockets, wait for the arrival of Marine, let them see what firepower is. Quote. Received. By the way, I almost forgot about business. Ren looked at Guion and said suddenly. How can there be such a man in this world? Hancock felt as if petrified by himself. Look at the celestial dragons being trampled underfoot. Beautiful eyes of different colors. Because of the inexplicable excitement, her body trembled. She had seen this situation more than once in her dreams. But in reality, she is always running away. They even deliberately avoid the island where the celestial dragons are located. This time it was an accident. She knew the celestial dragons were something she couldn't afford to mess with. She is not alone, and a whole country behind it. This figure, domineering and young, calm and calm. If celestial dragons are gods, then he is like a ruthless god killer at the moment. His eyes didn't even panic in the slightest. Calm and cold. As if the pinnacle of power in this world was for him. It's all a passing cloud. She has seen people who dare to rebel against the rule of the world government. But their eyes, either jealousy or madness, whatever they do. The celestial dragon's sense of oppression on them remains. But this man is different. It was as if he were not bound by all the laws of this world. It is the most free gesture. Hancock froze. The heart beats violently without arguing. She tried to calm down, but found that she couldn't. It was as if every cell in the whole body was excited by his presence. Filled with unprecedented vitality. Sister, sister, Sandersonia called many times. She reacted with hindsight. Buster call is on, we have to get out of here immediately. Can't be caught up in it. Quote. That's right, Mary Groot also said uneasily. At this time, what is my sister in a daze? Ah, oh, so good. Hancock woke up like a dream and hurriedly answered. But before leaving, she couldn't help but look back a little more. At this glance, she couldn't walk. She saw something unbelievable. The crazy, dying celestial dragons. Like a loyal old dog. Crawling willingly at the man's feet and licking his shoes. Guion saw Ren looking over. She took a deep look at William Saint. If celestial dragons kills, there will be big trouble, we can use him to exchange some things. Quote. She said this for Ren in mind. Even though she knew the celestial dragons in front of her were killed. But if you kill it, the nature has completely changed. The world government will do whatever it takes to regain the dignity of the celestial dragons. Many people are going to die. And stay in your hands, even if you use it to blackmail the world government. For the world government, at most, it is a loss of face. But to kill is to shake their authority over the world. It is equivalent to two armies fighting, beheading the royal family of the enemy country at the very beginning. It is equivalent to forcing the other side to go to war completely. Now that the big war is coming, even if I kill him, the world government won't be able to mobilize many troops to deal with me. Ren saw this early. There's Whitebeard, the tall one on top. Even if you die as celestial dragons. And not so that they will completely aim their muzzles at themselves. And what about after this? After that, the owner of this world should change. Ren smiled indifferently. Wait to take Wano Kuni yourself. Even if you can't win Marineford for a while. Ren is also not afraid of the attacks of multiple marine admirals. And once you take Marineford, just as Ren said, it's time for the masters of the world to change. There is enough capital to subvert the world. No, no, don't kill me. I can give you anything you want. Listen to Ren. Even the not-so-smart William Street knows. This madman is not threatening himself. But really kill yourself. I don't even plan to listen to my own persuasion. The thought of yourself might die. William Street couldn't get up anymore and begged for mercy repeatedly. There are still so many beautiful things in this world waiting for him to enjoy. He doesn't want to die. Do you hate me? Ren suddenly asked William Street without a head. No, hate. William Street instigated. Bang. Ren shot him straight to his third leg. Shish. The arrested rear admiral subconsciously clamped his legs. It hurts to look at. Guion is speechless. Is this guy a pervert? Now what? Hate me. Be honest. Quote. But William Street just screamed at the moment. At the same time, he looked at Ren with vicious eyes. I can't wait to rip Ren off his skin and cramp. Seeing this, Ren was very satisfied, and he looked towards Guion. It seems that he hates me, you can see it too. Quote. Is there any need to ask? Guion didn't know what medicine was sold in the Ren gourd. But she felt that the inquiry just now was superfluous. You shot him off his hands and feet. With the arrogance of celestial dragons, he has long hated it. In 30 seconds, he'll be my most faithful dog. How is that possible? Guion looked incredulous. If only William Street was forced to do something. Forced by the madman Ren. Maybe it's possible, but to say that he will become the most loyal dog. It's not just Guion who doesn't believe it. Hancock and others don't believe it either. Celestial dragons have a morbid hotness. It is impossible to surrender like ordinary people. Ren didn't explain, but proved it with actual actions. As soon as Ren raised his hand, a hazy silver-white light appeared on the ground. A strange building appeared in front of Ren out of thin air. It is a tower-like building, but it is a bit thicker than a prism tower. and the bottom of the tower is a room that can be entered. Ren picked up William Street and threw him inside this psychic controller. Outside a certain range. In fact, it can also affect the heart of William Saint. But the internal effect is stronger. What is this doing? Guion asked, puzzled. Wait and see. Buzz. The mind controller has an invisible ripple of radio waves. Guion finds his observation hockey disturbed. Hancock stared at that strange tower. For some reason, looking at the man, a desire for strong allegiance to him arises. She sensed something was wrong. Hockey was shocked and quickly got rid of the effects. But he had lingering feelings. What is that thing? What a weird feeling. 30 seconds later, covered in blood, William Street crawled out of the room. His face was calm and reverent. Look into Ren's eyes. No more hatred just now. It was as if there was no pain. Lord Ren, I am your most loyal servant. William Street said respectfully. I can't care about my body that is still bleeding. Climb to Ren's feet, stick out your tongue and lick the dust off Ren's military boots. Look at William Street. This looks more loyal than a dog. Guion was immediately wooden, and Hancock's heart was extremely shocked. What's going on here? Noble, arrogant, world aristocrats who consider themselves descendants of the creator celestial dragons. Licking the enemy's shoes. It's a loyal dog that has been kept for many years. But at the last moment, his eyes were still full of resentment. This is too much of a shift. Beyond their common sense understanding. Even if it's devil fruit ability. They haven't heard of this either. Ren looked down at William Street at his feet, and was also a little surprised. Mind controllers are simply objects of loyalty. Character and loyalty behave in an unpredictable way. But William Street licked his shoes like a dog. It feels a little nauseous. Could it be that he was born to be a house slave? Celestial dragons usurped their masters. Ren wondered a little. The problem we just talked about can be solved in this way, so that New World will not listen to us again. Hey, woman, don't look at me like this monster, I'm human. Quote. What evidence do you have to prove that you are human? Guion said subconsciously. This means is terrible. It's hard to prevent. Just imagine that the guards around you were suddenly rebelled against by others. What a terrible consequence that is. If I didn't say yes before, did you plan to do the same to me? Quote. Quote. Ren didn't answer. The meaning was obvious. Such a person, is it still a person? Guion really felt the fear. Yes, the character has not changed in all aspects, just loyal to me. Anyone can. No, it's hard for someone as determined as you. Ren said truthfully. The strong man of this world. Basically, they have mastered the power of spiritual will. If the will is strong enough, this power can fight against the mind controller. Hearing this, Guion breathed a slight sigh of relief. But Ren didn't tell her. Strong-willed people are not incapable of destroying it. Although leaving you with a life can calm the situation and even plant my eyeliner in the Holy Land, but you die, the signal of the representative, is even more important. Quote. Let the world understand that celestial dragons are not gods, but people who will die if they are killed. Authority weighs on many people's hearts. I have to tell the world that this mountain can be shaken. Quote. Ren said truthfully. Even a strong person like Guion is afraid of the authority of the world government. Not to mention others, so that the oppressed people all over the world will have the courage to resist. What Ren wants to convey to the world is a will and a mind. This idea is more useful than controlling a wine bag of rice bags with celestial dragons. In celestial dragons, there must be strong people, visionaries. But at the moment this one is clearly not. Even they are arrogant to think that no one in this world dares to kill them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have run around the world with such a little escort. Even with the Sabayati Archipelago's Straw Hat affair. That's still not dead. But from today on, everything is different. Ren pointed his gun at William Street. Guion, Hancock's heart contracted suddenly. Do you really want to kill? Bang. But they didn't have time to think. Ren decisively pulled the trigger. The bullet entered through the center of the William's holy eyebrow. Shoot from the back of the head with something red and white. William Street is not a monster or a god. Just mortal bodies. Shot in the head, naturally dead. Cut off his head and hang him in the port. Ren said to a soldier beside him. Yes, it's over, it's all over. Rear Admiral suddenly looked like ashes and collapsed on the ground. Killing the celestial dragons wasn't enough. And cut off the head and hang the port. This is crazy. Aren't you afraid of the wrath of the world government? Ren wanted the world government to be outraged. But people who can obviously be in high positions. I won't be angry at a juncture. Let's act out, evacuate the island's residents, and set up a formation against Marine's Buster Call. Received. Lord Ren, is there someone spying on you nearby? Do you need to clean up? A sniper from a high place came in a report. Ren followed the reminder and looked over. It met Hancock's royal blue eyes. For a while, I was amazed by her beauty. But only for a moment. It turned out to be 7 warlords of the sea, Boa Hancock ideographic period. Such a person is unlikely to file a complaint with the world government. Besides, he killed the celestial dragons. It was meant to be declared to the world. One more person knows, it doesn't matter. Hancock was looked at by Ren as such. My heart tightened immediately. The man looked harmless. It's crazy, and that kind of means just now made her feel fear too. No, let them go. Ren retracted his gaze. Sister Sama, you have to go. Sandersonia's 2 younger sisters directly carried their own sisters and left quickly. Who the hell is that man? Do you know each other? Hancock, who was being held away, suddenly asked his 2 sisters. I don't know, I haven't seen him, but it won't be long before the whole world will know him. ... Next, take these Marines in one go and let them become our strength. Ren looked at Guion and said. This is the most terrifying weapon I've ever seen. A weapon that can control people's hearts and spirits. Guion was the first time I had seen it, and I was extremely jealous. But it's good that this weapon is theirs. Ren nodded approvingly. Mind controller once used well. The threat to any force is extremely terrifying. The inhabitants of the island have heard about it. Learned that celestial dragons had been killed. They fled the island in a panic. Originally before Buster Call was launched. The local marine will do everything in its power to hold down the enemy. Otherwise, wait for the enemy to escape. What's the point of launching Buster Call again? Hit the air, and wait for the Buster Call warship to arrive. Marine, who could retreat, began to retreat. Can't retreat, entangled by the enemy. You can only resign yourself to fate and bomb together. But Colonel Marine outside found out. The surrounding allies showed no signs of retreating. On the contrary, there are more and more. These are our strengths, and I try to lose as little as possible. Ren issued orders one by one. In the nearby seas, submarines are dispatched and torpedoes are arranged. The entire coastline is also lined with rows of tanks and artillery that cannot be seen at a glance. In the open space of the island, on a temporarily cleared runway, fighter jets and bombers were parked. And the Chrono soldiers are still teleporting things over. At the same time, Ren built several barracks on the site. A steady stream of soldiers was born from the barracks. Guion was stunned. Did all your soldiers come like this? Quote. Yes, what's the problem? Are you really sure that you are human? Isn't this creating life? Ren smiled and didn't speak. In some ways, it can indeed be understood this way. Seeing this, Guion could not calm down for a long time. Time passed, but not soon. The island's marine was taken by Ren first. The captured marine was thrown into the mind controller by Ren. Make them your own. A boat on the shore leaves the island and sails 1,000 sails to cross. Celestial dragons are dead. No one wants to be caught up in a mess. Hancock's perfume snake also left the shore. She stood on the bow of the boat, still brushed by the sea breeze in her hair. For a while, her heart was a little messy. She looked at the island and for some reason was a little worried. Will the man die? Are excellent men always short-lived? Will there be a chance to see it in the future? Ren is on the edge of the beach at the moment. Wear a parasol, read the newspaper and wait for Buster Call. Guion itself was a little nervous. As Marine, it was the first time she had competed with Marine's national combat power. Although knowing that Ren did a lot of arrangement, and the unsuspecting Marines will definitely suffer a huge loss. But her heart was still full of restlessness and uneasiness. She couldn't understand why this man could still be so laid back. Calm, as long as I don't want to, they won't be able to hit the island with a single shell. Ren said confidently. Buster Call is truly terrible. But its horror is not in its top strength. It's about its firepower. It just so happens that this is the greatest advantage of the Allies. And he waited for his own work, and the traps were all laid. Guion didn't answer. Suddenly, at sea level, 10 Marines' top warships lined up. Murderous galloping, fast, far from what ordinary sailboats can achieve. Apparently the one who used the ability. Buster Call is fast. And celestial dragons are usually chosen near the island. There must be Marine base. Report, we have reached the Sea of Victoria and found that many ships are fleeing from the island. A Marine reported. Sink them. Stiera's Vice Admiral put his hand on his longsword and said expressionlessly. Vice Admiral Sama, those look like civilian ships. Can you guarantee that there are no criminals on that ship? No, you can't. Then sink them. Yes, the whole army obeys the order. Aim at all ships in line of sight. Quote. Artillery battery ready. Sister, it seems that they are not ready to let go of any ships leaving the island. Sandersonia realized. Their conflict with Marine may have to break out. Stoka Berry Vice Admiral, something big has happened. While the artillery fire was preparing to roar, a Marine lookout said shakily. The body is directly paralyzed to the ground. Panic, what kind of system? Berry Vice Admiral said coldly. Celestial dragons, Williams Holy is dead. His head was cut off and hung on the pier. Quote. What? Stoka Berry suddenly lost his voice. His legs were also a little soft. Are you sure? Sure. These thugs. The whole army immediately opened fire. Berry Vice Admiral said angrily. Every warship has dozens of super guns. There are hundreds of guns in 10 warships. Hundreds of top-of-the-line guns. Enough for a baptism of fire on an island. Fluffy. Order, and in an instant, hundreds of shells fired at the island and the departing ships at the same time. Deafening shelling. Let everyone tremble inside. Marine opened fire on us. DMN maniacs, who is not good to mess with, actually provoke celestial dragons. This firepower configuration, could it be Buster Call? On a civilian ship, a businessman said in horror. One round is hundreds of super fire shells. Who can resist this? V3 rocket, start interception. Ren fell. Whoosh. Thousands of rockets instantly soared from the island to intercept. Boom boom. All shells are accurately destroyed in the air. The dense explosion sound is shocking. People looked up, and the sky was full of explosive fire. Like the entire canopy, brilliant fireworks were raised. Unexpectedly, not a single leak was completely prevented. Hancock is going to make a move. As a result, the shells were stunned and did not hit here. The escaped civilians also breathed a sigh of relief. All defended. Virgo Vice Admiral was also stunned. The coverage is so wide. The shells, which also had an extremely fast rate of fire, were intercepted without a single shot. How is this possible? No, the shells fired from the ship. The impact of the waves on the hull, they can't be 100% sure of the trajectory of the shell. But even if it was stopped, the attack is coming from the island. What a madman. Kill the celestial dragons, not only did not escape, but also dared to stay on the island. This is a naked provocation. All batteries ready. Full fire bombing of Victoria Island, celestial dragons confirmed dead. No need to have any scruples. Destroy the enemy at all costs. Quote. Yes, all the batteries were again calibrated for orientation. Lord Wren, the enemy has entered a minefield. Is it really swaggering, not at all alert? Or an attack from the bottom of the sea? You guys don't have much defense yet. And rightfully so. The bottom of the sea is extremely dangerous. In this era, the usual way of attacking under the sea. It is a barrel of explosives disguised as a floating object. They have checked this and found nothing. And Buster Call has always been a change of color. Who would have thought that someone would dare to ambush them? Detonate. Also start radio interference. Ren voice fell. Thundered. 10 top warships, like 10 behemoths. Keep a certain distance and prepare for the next salvo. But at this moment, a big explosion suddenly occurred in the sea. In an instant, hundreds of skyrocketing water columns were blown up in the entire sea area. Almost all warships were affected. Click. A strong explosion, several warships were hit. 4 top warships hit the point. Break from the bottom. The Marines panicked. Everyone on the warship follows the broken ship and sinks to the bottom of the sea. The remaining 6 warships also have varying degrees of damage. There is an ambush. Vice Admiral Sama, there is an ambush in the sea. Quote, there is an ambush among us. What? 5 Vice Admiral looked incredulous, they have such a fleet. And someone dares to ambush them. Nothing wrong was found beforehand. And this firepower is too strong. The explosion from the bottom of the sea can directly shred the top warship. They all feel bad. Devil Squad, follow me into the sea to clear the ambush. Becca Vice Admiral was furious, and jumped into the sea with several rear admirals and dozens of colonels. The ambush in the sea must be cleared. They are extremely watery. Can be submerged to the bottom of the sea. But they were horrified to find out. Steel submarines are floating up, densely turned, like a jungle of steel. All the Marines who jump into the sea are like hell. Then they were even more desperate to discover. The forest-like submarine fired a strip of shells at them in the water. Boom boom, another explosion that shook the sky. Torpedoes, missiles, and at the same time roar. Fluffy, Marine Vice Admiral, Rear Admiral are blown out of the sea like fried fish. Even Marine Vice Admiral, the speed in the sea is also impossible to compare with a missile torpedo. Hockey can't even carry it. Poof, Becca Vice Admiral blood in the sky, confusion. Becca, other Vice Admiral's face changed dramatically. At this moment, they realized that this time, I am afraid that there is less fierceness. Virgo Vice Admiral, there are many submarines floating up in the sea. I'm afraid there are hundreds. Quote, reports Tierra's Vice Admiral, suddenly a large fleet is coming towards us behind the island. There are thousands of ships. This Marine was so scared that his lips trembled. Among them are no more than half of their smaller ships. That seems to be the temperament of the Allies. What the hell is going on here? The Vice Admirals were dumbfounded. This is Buster Call. Hancock and the other ships looked at the Buster Call warship. Those warships look like little lambs who have fallen into the tiger pack at this moment. Trembling. Who the hell is this guy? How can he have such terrible firepower and fleet? You guys are already surrounded. Surrender without killing. Ren picked up the communicator and shouted directly. Surrender. Are you kidding? Since Buster Call existed. This has never happened. Buster Call once launched. Success must be guaranteed, so that it can continue to be a deterrent weapon on the sea. This is also the case when Hancock can compete head-on with Buster Call. Still choose the reason for avoidance. If Buster Call fails this time, to save face, the world government will definitely launch Buster Call again. And by that time the Buster Call must be the highest specification Buster Call. Led by Marine Admiral himself, and by more than one. 5 Vice Admiral jointly launched the Buster Call. It's just a national standard. Fire fire. Tierra's Vice Admiral wields his longsword. Cut off the steady stream of shells. At the same time an order was given to fight back. The remaining warships that could fire guns all fired. But to their despair, once again, all shells were intercepted. Can't land on the island at all. Directly lean over the warship. The fire was completely blocked. Warships were also damaged to varying degrees. 4 of them were directly sunk. At present, thousands of Marine elites can only hold wooden planks. Or stand on a floating wreckage. It is impossible for other warships to wait for them. Otherwise, there will be no counterattack. And on all sides are submarines. Such ships, in this era, are very few. Keep firing. They also have 4 Vice Admirals and 8 Rear Admirals, many elites. Once close to the island, if the fire does not work, it will be a blade battle. You have to take out the enemy. In particular, the Celestial Dragons were dead and the warships suffered heavy losses. If you can't even take down the enemy, they will all be held accountable afterwards. Rush, whoosh, but in the next second, the overwhelming shells and missiles roared and swarmed in. The Marines change faces, and the Vice Admirals do everything they can to meet the battle. But no matter how many shells they shoot down, how many missiles they shoot, the other party's shells are like not wanting money. Constantly bombarded. It seems that at this moment, the Allies are the initiators of Buster Call. This scene stunned the civilian ships that were gradually moving away. This firepower is terrifying, unheard. A salvo from the island and from those steel warships, submarines. I'm afraid thousands, tens of thousands of shells directly cover the entire sea. The entire sea area instantly became a sea of death and fire. Frightened them to speed up and flee. Boom. Another marine warship Sidhian was hit, blowing out a large hole. The warship began to sink slowly. Not every shell, Marine Vice Admiral, can be prevented. How can there be such exaggerated firepower? Virgo Vice Admiral said incredulously. Was the young master killed by this kind of fleet fire? Who the hell is going to erase whom now? Thundered. Another warship was shot through the mast, ships, and the fire burned. 10 buster calls have only 4 weeks left. The remaining Vice Admiral looked at each other in agreement. They all understood each other's meaning from their eyes. If you want to win now, you can't be beaten so passively. Many of Marine's elite strength is separated from this distance. Many abilities can't be used. Because across the ocean, melee must be fought as soon as possible. This is the only way. Up, Stokabelly Vice Admiral whispered. Virgo, Steranres, Dalmesia 3 Marine Vice Admiral also nodded at the same time. Moonwalk. Bang bang. A sonic boom cloud erupted under everyone's feet. At this moment, abandon the warship, take off into the air, and go straight to the island to slaughter. The shells along the way were destroyed by 4 Vice Admiral. There was an unstoppable trend for a while. Is it all Marine Vice Admiral? Then give this a try. I don't have full firepower, I hope you can resist. Ren clicked the tablet. Superweapon was chosen. Weather controller. A little more coverage, better. Ren activated 10 weather controllers at once. It's not that I'm worried about not being powerful enough. It's about covering a larger area. Don't give Marine Vice Admirals a chance to dodge. Lightning storm. Super weapon weather controller attack. The whole sky suddenly darkened. Vice Admirals sense an unprecedented crisis. When I looked up, the sky was cloudy, lightning and thunder, very violent. Lightning bolts crackled and flashed as if they had come to life. Boom. Suddenly, thunder roared, and lightning in the sky bombarded the entire sea area with a destructive attitude. The dark sky is once again completely illuminated. What? Seeing this, the Marine Vice Admirals were shocked and fought back. But they have nowhere to escape. Thundered. Lightning is like a whip, whipping the entire sea, like a laser sweeping the ground, flashing back and forth. It's like the end of the world, to destroy the whole world. And this kind of natural disaster, Marine Vice Admiral, cannot be completely prevented. If you don't pick up, you have no way to escape. In an instant, it was a thunderbolt. After a round, 4 Vice Admirals fell from the sky like birds with folded wings. 2 Vice Admirals directly hit and passed out. But Sturith Vice Admiral and Virgo Vice Admiral, full coverage armament hockey. It was struck by lightning, but it didn't completely collapse. They are excellent in defense. It was scorched black, and when it was about to fall into the sea, 2 people took off one by one moonwalk. Bite your scalp hard and continued to rush forward. But a lightning-like figure suddenly appeared behind them. They see and smell and perceive it. His face was delighted. Mamasagi Vice Admiral, you are also. No, be careful, Virgo hurriedly reminded. But it was too late, and Guillaume put down the Sire's Vice Admiral with a knife back. Cut at the seriously injured Virgo again. Virgo may not be able to block when he is not injured. Not to mention now, I was knocked out by Guillaume. Of course, if not injured. It takes more time for Guillaume to win. So far, all 5 Vice Admirals have won. The rest of the Marine was captured alive by the Allies. Ren was expressionless. Their own troops were stronger than them, and they were even caught off guard. I also tried out superweapons. If you can't even win a few Vice Admiral, that's the joke. They will be in your hands in the future. Their loyalty does not need to worry. Wait for a little destruction of the outside of the island. Report to the world government. Buster call launched, but the enemy has fled. The world government will not doubt you anytime soon. Quote. Ren stood up and said to Guillaume, who was carrying a few Vice Admirals. Guillaume made a move, really afraid that Ren would accidentally kill these Vice Admiral. That lightning storm weapon, she's never seen it. But it's as powerful as Logia's natural disaster. If she continues to bombard, I'm afraid she won't be able to withstand it. And that doesn't seem to be at full power. Why don't you say you're dead? That's not going to work. I'm going to pass on that the man who killed the celestial dragons is still alive. I'm going to die. I'm afraid I'll be used as teaching materials again. Quote. Got it. After their psychic interference is over, To ensure that the Marine base where they are located will establish contact with me in case, I will set up psychic controllers in each base. As for being so careful, if they were reasonable, maybe they would be willing to. What we have to do, there are no accidents, some means are necessary. Got it. I'll go back to Dressrosa first, and Cyrus seems to have done it too. It's time to do a big job. Ren's eyes gradually became hot. Buster Call in front of him, he didn't put it in his eyes at all. Because his next target is Wano-kuni. Just now there was news from the air headquarters. Kaido clashes with redheads on Katamis Island. He carries embers at the same time. And Jack, one of the three plagues, is also sweeping the islands in their seas. Those are the trick-or-treating teams sent by Ren. That is, now Wano-kuni's biggest speaker. At the same time, the strongest person has only won 3 tribulations Quinn. Well, this is definitely a rare opportunity to steal the house. At the same time, shortly after Ren returned to Dressrosa, Marine HQ has updated the fastest bounty list ever. And this time there are photos. What a joke, what the hell did this guy do? The bounty rose from 1 billion to 2 billion Bailey in just a few days. Quote, "Death to celestial dragons. Shock the world. Many generals of the world government, Marine headquarters were furious. I wish First could send Marine Admiral now to bring Ren to justice. But in fact, they didn't. Because Whitebeard's problem is imminent. Even so as not to affect the morale of the Marines. Neither Marine headquarters nor world government have acknowledged using Buster Call. In its place is silence. They naturally didn't suspect that New World's Marine was Ren Man. This is the same result as Ren suspected. The world aristocracy celestial dragons is important. But 5 elders are not stupid. Even if I want to destroy Ren immediately. But you have to hold back. Wait until they take Whitebeard. Not only will it let the world know that their authority is still unprovoked. Admiral can be summoned to annihilate Ren in one fell swoop." Ren looked at the 5 elders' faces expectantly. Wait until one day. Countless marine defects. At that time, the expression on 5 elders' face must have been good. At present, countless powerful people in the world are tracking down who Ren is. 1 billion bounty for one debut. Within a few days, it rose to 2 billion Bailey bounties. Before, he was unknown. Unprecedented. And what was done made 4 emperors smack their tongues. The redhead looked at the wanted warrant and stayed for a while. Then he burst out laughing. This made all the subordinates feel a little inexplicable. Celestial dragons killed, what is their captain happy about? It's all to blame Roger, that guy. What a big secret treasure, one little pervert after another keeps popping up. And 4 emperors is vaguely aware of a threat. No matter the supernova of the worst of times. Or this allied Ren. When these people grow up, it is essential to come into conflict with them. A new era has arrived. Gollum Lala, Roger, you are always right, man's dream and will never be extinct, the God Slayer has appeared. It's a pity that there is no time, otherwise I would like to meet him. Whitebeard laughed with relief after reading the warrant. This little devil who defeated the clown, the courage is very good, I will go back, I hope that the red-haired guy will not suddenly come out again to spoil me for good. Kaido incarnates as a green dragon and swims above New World. He didn't know that he was optimistic about talents. At the moment, he has set his eyes on his old nest Wano-kuni. A few days pass in the blink of an eye. The sea has fallen into eerie silence these days. Nothing big happened. It's like the calm before a storm. And 48 hours before the day of the public execution of Fire Fist Ace. Ren acted. I didn't expect that even luck was on our side, and Ember was not in Wano-kuni. Inside the main hall of the Dressrosa Palace. All senior allied commanders were present. Cyrus, the Lilliputian troops, and several captains with bounties of more than 100 million are also there. Ren decided to go as fast as possible. Before Kaido returns to Wano-kuni. Take Wano-kuni. At present, the explosive troops have reached his expected 10 million. Dressrosa is now left with only a few soul ores. In order to go further, action must be taken. And a few days ago Kaido and Ember left Wano-kuni. Prepare to intercept Whitebeard. Spotted by the redhead, the two clash on Katamis Island. Now separated for the time being, though. But 10 minutes ago, the satellite captured a set of images. Once again, the redhead is close to where Kaido and Ember are. At New World, the climatic magnetic field is chaotic. Ren satellites can't be monitored all the time. And staring at the four emperors level powerhouse, it will definitely be noticed. At that time, it is possible to lose satellites in vain. After all, the collision of four emperors is that even the clouds and atmosphere in the sky will be cut apart. It is not impossible to affect satellites. Ren never underestimated any four emperors. So it has been staring at the situation of Wano Kuni before. Of course, with the current strength, Ren felt able to stand up to any of the four emperors. Strategy is also essential. Without Wano Kuni, where Kaido sits, after taking it as soon as possible, Ren can use Wano Kuni's soul ore. Further expansion of forces and weaponry. In case something happens when dealing with Kaido, there is a soul ore that can be used for emergency use. And more importantly, after taking Wano Kuni, Ren can turn offense into defense. Further expand your strengths. Amplify the enemy's disadvantage. Not surprisingly, Kaido and Redhead will clash again. His troops are also in place. There is nothing to hesitate. Launch a blitzkrieg and take Wano Kuni as fast as you can. When Kaido comes back, all in Ren hands. The sea and land of Dressrosa are shining with silver glow at this moment. The strength of troops hidden on other islands these days. At this moment, they were all summoned back by Ren. Today the weather in Wano Kuni is fine. This time the battle, unlike the past, will be very hard, although Kaido is not in Wano Kuni, giving us a good opportunity to break one by one, but there is also a problem, that is, if their king does not fall, Beast's pirates will resist to the end. The enemy is not afraid of life and death, and there are hundreds of capable people, tens of thousands of elites. But with our strength, we can take them. Quote, because there is a time-space installation device. Wano Kuni's largest natural barrier lost its effect on the allies. Otherwise, rely on this natural barrier. Even without Kaido. If there are 3 disasters, the other 4 emperors want to attack. There is also a huge price to pay. Grunt. Listening to Ren, the pirate captain swallowed their saliva. It didn't take long for them to join the allies. It's about to go straight to war with the 4 emperors. It's so exciting, but they are already tied to this ship. There is no choice. 5 minutes later, the first legion of 1 million soldiers carried out the first batch of teleportation, and then other legions followed according to the established interval, and it has been discovered that the Beast's pirates' forces are mainly distributed in Ghost Island, Flower Capital, 9 Miles and Rabbit Bowl, and the 4 lines are fighting at the same time. No matter the cost, everything is mainly to take Wano Kuni as quickly as possible. If the conditions are not permitted, even those with the ability of 100 beasts don't have to consider capturing them alive. Is it all clear? Ren emphasized the focus of the battle. Yes, sir, numerous senior commanders said. He will also follow the First Legion and directly appear on the scene of the Ghost Island to command the battle. After all, Wano Kuni is an island at the same time. There are 4 seasons that change. Abrupt climate changes are commonplace. Once the satellite is interrupted, the chrono force does not have the view provided by the satellite. Unable to teleport, but if you are there, you are an uninterrupted signal source. There is a soul ore that can be directly built on site. For this battle, Ren except after the explosion. 30 million soul ores were also reserved just in case. 5 minutes pass in the blink of an eye. Go, take Wano Kuni. Quote. Chapter 51. Wano Kuni is captured by Kurozumi Serpent and Beast's pirates. Ruled by tyranny for decades, and mourning was everywhere. Since Kazuki Oden's death, there have been many samurai uprisings. But under absolute strength, they all ended in failure. This tyranny without any whitewashing. Countless people in Wano Kuni were starved to death. Those who are still alive are like walking with the dead. When will such a day be the beginning, and there are still 2 years to go, will a miracle really happen? At this moment, Kazuki Hiyori, dressed as Wano Kuni's first flower leader, looked at the numb people on the streets of Wadu and sighed. On the street, someone was escorted by the troops of the Big Snake. Falsely charged. Such things have long been commonplace. Every minute of life is torment. She also has to swim in front of the enemy of Kurozumi's serpent. To use some strength. To help people in need. And the Big Snake is in the royal palace of the flower capital. Live the life of a wine pond meet forest. As an avenger, he is content with his life today. It's a pity that the little purple girl still wants to refuse to welcome him. For such a peerless beauty. He just enjoyed the feeling of not getting it. The woman who forced cum, he has done it many times over the years. It has lost its freshness. The rabbit bowl, where prisoners are held, still works intensively every day. People die every day. Even Kawamatsu and Hyogoro were imprisoned here. Ghost Island, at this moment the wine is singing. Quinn stood on an open-air platform, singing and dancing rap and swinging together into the microphone. The two eldest brothers are not there, and he can indulge for a while. Anyway, no unswerving guy dares to come to them for trouble. Now the eyes of the world are on Whitebeard and Marine headquarters. And on that what allied leader. Even if there are really eye-opening pirate groups who think this is a good opportunity to invade them. Let's go through the guards at the waterfall first. But there is basically no chance for him to make a move. They beasts pirates only take the elite route. The strong are like clouds and are not afraid of anyone. Brothers, in 2 days the Whitebeard pirates and Marine are bound to go to war. Now it's up to me to sit on the estate, don't miss it if you want to make a lot of money. Oh, Quinn danced and sang passionately. And don't forget to open a casino. The pirates below also have fun and dance together. I buy Whitebeard to win. First bet on Marine HQ to win. Huh, what is that? A projection of light suddenly appeared in the sky. Quote. Suddenly, a cadre looked up and saw a light curtain appear in the sky. On the light curtain is the face of several districts of Wano-kuni. At the same time, the same light curtain appeared in the capital of Flowers, Julie, and the Rabbit Bowl. Ren wants to destroy Beast's pirates in front of the people of Wano-kuni. They are too loyal to the Kazuki family. That's not good, so he needs to create a new hero to rule Wano-kuni afterwards. Which guy got drunk and turned on the light conch live? Quinn was also surprised. But then his face changed dramatically. Buzz. Air oscillation. A cloud of silver-white light suddenly appeared out of thin air on the ground, in the sky, and on the sea of the Ghost Island. The sky is swarms of bombers, fighters, as well as the Kirov airboat. And many Kirov airboats already filled with napalm, high explosives. As soon as an airplane appears, it is in flight at high speed. The roar instantly filled everyone's ears. The members of Beast's pirates, who are experienced in combat, immediately reacted, enemy attack. Quote. The same plane also appeared at the same time in the sky above the capital of Flowers, the Rabbit Bowl, and 9 miles. More than 1,000 fighters of all kinds. After the explosion reached 10 million, the number of Ren aircraft also increased to 4,000. And on the originally vast ground, a phalanx of 10,000 people appeared. Every 10,000 people in a phalanx, the pace is neat, and the swords and guns are fully equipped. When he was angry, when he didn't move, there was no sound at all. Still, who looks at the past? There will only be one feeling, elite. A 10,000 person phalanx crisscrossing is extremely shocking. And on the island of ghosts, 50 such phalanxes appeared at the same time at this moment. Vast and boundless. In addition to the soldier phalanx, there is also a whole ring steel torrent. That's a dense mixture of tank fighting vehicles. There are 5 rings, enveloping the entire Ghost Island. The island of ghosts that originally seemed empty. At the moment, it seems a little crowded. The sea around Oni Island. Densely packed steel warships also appeared. The firepower and missiles of naval guns should not be underestimated. And in the sky and on the ground of several places such as the capital of Flowers, an extremely terrifying number of legions appeared. It's just that outside the Ghost Island, if other places want to bomb, more accurate data is needed. Otherwise, most likely all civilians will be blown up. And accompanied by the terrified word, enemy attack, of a 4 emperors cadre. Bombers over Ghost Island, fighters fired instantly. Fight when you meet, there is no room for conversation. The fighter swarm is like an eagle hunting food, diving down, heavy machine guns spraying tongues of fire. High explosive bullets poured down on the buildings of the Ghost Island like a heavy rain. And the pirates who are opening an open-air banquet. Ghost Island, basically everyone is a pirate. Overlay attacks are unleashable. Poof, poof, poof. Powerful bullets, tearing the inaccessible pirates to shreds. Whoosh. Bombshell after bomb was dropped, and a piercing sonic boom sounded. Then the next second, boom. The bomb touched the ground and the blazing flames soared into the sky. The banquet stage is blown up, and the billowing flames swallow a group of pirates into it. The scene was instantly chaotic. The pirates of Beast's pirates have a fierce look like a demon. Many cadres transform into animal forms, raise the sky and roar angrily. It's like a group of demons dancing. They are furious. How dare someone bomb and attack them? Beast's pirates find death. But the bombing did not stop because of this. The bombing continued, and waves of earth and rock were blown up on the ground. Under the terrifying fire, the earth was trembling. The floor is like a fragile tofu block, and the shells are steel chopsticks that smash everything. The fire rushed into the sky, and napalm was dropped from the bomber. The fire intensified, and black gunpowder smoke billowed up and soared into the sky. The fire was so fierce that the screams spread instantly. The pirates scattered and fled. The smell of meat suddenly spreads. The whole one is like purgatory on earth. The entire inhabitants of Wano-kuni look up at this scene, all stunned. This is dreaming, Kazuki Hiyori said blankly as he looked at the sky. For a while, I couldn't tell the difference between reality and dreams. Where is this legion? There is such a terrifying strength and firepower. At this point, Ren appeared on the screen. He said a sentence that will last a lifetime for the people of Wano-kuni. I am the leader of the Allied forces, Ren, unilaterally declaring war against Beast's pirates. Quote. This sentence sounded like a thunderstorm in everyone's mind. I only felt a rush of arrogance. Both the Day and these enemies of Beast's pirates. Or Quinn, Kurozumi Serpent, the rulers of Wano-kuni. At this moment, you can feel the domineering and crazy in these words. In this world, anyone dares to unilaterally declare war on Beast's pirates. And just start when you meet. Kill them directly. Who is this guy? Even in Beast's pirates, many people don't know Ren either. After all, not every pirate can pay attention to the news in time. Especially in Wano-kuni, a closed country. Outsiders, Kaido's guy seems to be a villain in the outside world. Kazuki Hiyori muttered looking at the sky. It's not without outsiders challenging Kaido over the years. But very few can reach the Ghost Island. Suddenly appeared out of thin air like today. It was the first time that a divine soldier had descended from the sky. With so many troops, it's really shocking. Is it directly teleported through what ability? But Beast's pirates are all monsters. I don't know if I can win. Mad Dead Man came over. The battle for the capital of flowers has also begun. No need to look at the sky screen. At this moment, you can also see like locusts. Queues of heavily armed soldiers rushed into the capital of flowers from all directions. Under the cover of steel tanks, they take over place after place. The civilians fled in panic. But the passing soldiers did not shoot at them. Their purpose is Kurozumi's Great Serpent's Palace. The forces of the capital of flowers are not weak. Troops loyal to Kurozumi Serpent also moved quickly. These fools. Someone rebelled again, and was it again provoked by the Kazuki remnants? Kill all these guys for me right away. Kurozumi is extremely emotionally unstable. It can even be said to be very sensitive. Over the years, because of Odin's founding prophecy. Every year there is a constant revolt. He always subconsciously remembered the fear that Kazuki Odin brought him. Especially as the prophetic day draws closer. He became more and more moody. As long as it is suspected to be the remnants of Kazuki. They were basically killed by him. Or go to jail. Now Wano-kuni has changed dramatically. His first thought was, this must have something to do with Kazuki's remnants. At his order, the ninja troops of the Goding Fan quickly rushed to protect him. And the samurai troops who saw the return group faced the soldiers who appeared in the palace. With Beast's pirates here, no one can threaten me, and the 190th Regiment of Beast Pirates is an enemy. No matter how many people there are, they will definitely die a terrible death. Kurozumi soothed himself. But there is also an element of fact. Even if Kaido is not there for the time being. But none of his subordinates were afraid of life and death. It is as if he was born to fight. Kaido, who grew up in a country at war. Advocating a world where violence solves all problems. So his subordinates, under the influence of his will. They are basically not afraid of life and death. Very ferocious. Bang, but his voice just fell. Dozens of fighters flew through the air. Facing the palace of the Big Snake is a wild bombardment. The buildings crumbled, the fire burst into the sky, and then the gunfire roared. Kurozumi looked out in horror. Discover that the number of enemy soldiers around is still increasing. But many of the walls have collapsed. Steel monsters drove in. Ordinary katanas can't cut this steel at all. Only powerful samurai can do it. Reinforcements from their own side came from all directions. It will not be completely attacked for a while. After all, his samurai and ninja are also very powerful. The flames of war are raging. Come to trouble us beasts pirates while Brother Kaido is away. It seems that there are a lot of people, but do you really think that you can win if you have a large number? Black Maria, one of the 6 sons of the Valley, said coldly. Her bounty was 480 million baileys. It is an ancient species, a Gersnard rose ancient tarantula morphological ability. She is very tall, more than 8 meters, but she is still charming and hot. More love for Kaido. At the moment, Lord Kaido is not there. She would never allow anything to go wrong with Wanokuni's base camp. Let all the troops attack, destroy all the enemies, let them see the horror of our beasts pirates. Mary led her men outside. There is not the slightest fear in the eyes. Powerful them. In his early years, he followed Kaido to the south and the north. What big battle has not been seen? Lord Maria, the communication of the field snail telephone worm has been interfered. But the sky screen shows that it's not just our ghost island that is under attack. Rabbit Bowl, 9 miles, and the garrisons of the flower capital were all attacked. The number of enemies is currently unknown, but in terms of the number of ghost islands, I am afraid that there are hundreds of thousands. A pirate reported. And what about hundreds of thousands? Just kill them all. Yes, send fast abilities, establish new communications, and pass orders to strangle intruders. Received. That guy Quinn won't be blown up just like that, it's really going to be blown up. The location of the big sign is mine. Sasaki came out of the building AEG with his armored troops. See the flames still burning. But he didn't look the slightest bit worried about his companions. Instead, he thought that Quinn was dead. You can take his place yourself. He is also one of the 6 sons of Vali, with a bounty of 472 million bailey. Beasts pirates' most advanced armored and mechanized troops. Carrying a knife, he led his armored troops to meet the phalanx of allied soldiers. Immense strength. A phalanx of 10,000 people, under the charge of him and his subordinates. Thousands of people were cut down when they met. Defensive shield. Watch the dense shells come at you. As soon as he gave the order, hundreds of subordinates erected special metal shields. Everyone is very strong. Relying on the shield, he actually withstood the bombardment of countless cannons. Fight back. Poke the firearm out of the shield. Shoot at charging allies. The allies immediately fell hundreds more. Ha ha ha, the strength of these guys is only that. Such strength also dares to come to our beasts pirates' trouble. Isn't it hundreds of thousands of troops? I don't know how you appeared, but as long as you kill it all, it's no problem. Seeing this, Sasaki immediately became arrogant. But in fact, he rejoiced too soon. Self-detonating soldiers are mixed in with ordinary soldiers. Rush to the formation and detonate instantly. Boom boom. Allied soldiers blew themselves up. Blast their formation all at once. Many pirates followed along to the west heaven. Now self-detonators. Gladius burst fruit factor improvements. The explosion is more powerful than ever. Self-detonation. Sasaki was stunned for a moment, and his eyes froze. The enemy's will to destroy them is so strong. Is there any deep hatred with them? Watch out for guys with explosive packs. Sasaki reminded. Ren also did not use self-detonators all the time. One is to use it all the time, and the consumption is too fast. The second is a single attack, which is easy to be prevented. The best way to use self-detonators is to mix them in stormtrooper formations. Ah! Suddenly, there were many screams from behind. Lord Sasaki, something is wrong. Many strong fortresses have appeared behind us at some point. There must be no such building just now. What? Sasaki was startled and looked back. Sure enough, the originally flat ground. Bunkers are raised, mounted a heavy machine gun. Tongues of fire form chains of bullets, reaping their lives. The shield just blocked the front. Didn't even think about the safe zone they just passed by. All of a sudden, these things will pop up. It's so abnormal. So backstabbed. Quite a few people died. The enemy is capable, don't be careless. Sasaki could only command the troops. Take down the bunker behind you first. Lord Sasaki, When did we have more tower-shaped buildings on our island? Whatever it is, it must be the enemy's means, destroy. Who sneaked up on Uncle Ben just now? And the still burning fire. Quinn's angry voice was heard. A huge ancient brachiosaurus suddenly shook its neck. Set off a gust of wind. The wind shredded the flames in front of you. Even if it was hit by such fierce artillery fire at the first time. At the moment, Quinn's body is just some skin injuries. The cannonball dropped by this iron bird is so powerful. Killed a lot of my cute subordinates. Also blew up Uncle Ben's glasses. You guys. Quinn's eyes froze, and the killing intent surged wildly. At this moment, another plane is passing by. He transforms into an orc state. Black fire. He lifted his mechanical prosthesis, and a laser burst out. With a roar, the bomber was immediately swept away by more than a dozen. Quinn, one of the three plagues. Grandmaster Armed Color Observation Hockey. Zone Ancient Brachiosaurus Fruit Ability. It is also a variety of inventions of Grandmaster. He was a colleague of King and Caesar Kerrang of Germa. Also a researcher under Becca Punk. Multiple abilities of the Grandmaster Vinsmoke family. This also includes Invisible Black. The whole body has been transformed many times. In your mouth, you can shoot lasers in your hands, Black Fire. Also good at virus attacks. Bounty of 1.32 billion Bailey. It's a monster in Beasts Pirates. A strong man with high defense and high risk of injury. He is bathed in shells and bombardment at the moment. Like a prehistoric beast, it is difficult to be broken. Quinn looked at the incoming corps. Subconsciously turn your head and order your subordinates to form a lineup to fight. But this turn of the head found out. The subordinates had long been scattered by the enemy crowd. Pull out the same communication creature as the phone bug. Found dead. He looked around. Although there are many enemy soldiers. But the combat power is generally average. Since that's the case, then kill them all. Quinn opened his mouth, and another black flame shot out. Sue. This laser penetrated 7 or 8 tanks in front of his eyes. Accompanied by terrifying explosions and fires. So many people, enough for me to kill. Let you know what a tragic end it will be for us. Spark Queen. Kong Quinn's eyes shot continuous exploding beam projectiles. Like Kizaru's 8-foot Joan Tomo. This was the ability of Germa Spark Red IG. But he's also a Grandmaster. Boom boom. A phalanx of 10,000 people in front of him was immediately blown to pieces. Pong. A self-detonating soldier approached Quinn and was swept to death by his one-tail paw. Although the explosion occurred, it could not hurt Quinn, who had thick skin and flesh. Little devil, you are the leader of the Allied forces, what are you going to do if you don't kill the celestial dragons? Quinn's observation hockey quickly caught Ren. Ren didn't try to hide it either. He is on the Kirov airboat at the moment. Stand in the bridge position. Closely monitor every move on the battlefield. And build machine gun fortresses, light prism towers out of thin air on the entire Ghost Island. As long as it's within a certain range of Ren. All buildings with the red alert system can be built on the spot. And a good location. It often works well. The reaction is very fast. The overall strength is also very strong. Just the first wave of tentative attacks has already lost 30,000 troops. Even without Kaido, the overall level of warriors is not comparable to the Doflamingo pirates. Sure enough, it is right to choose the strategy of breaking one by one. If Kaido directs directly, it doesn't even guarantee a 100% winning rate. Ren analyzed internally. Inside the building, more and more cadres join the battle. Artificial animal fruit abilities are also very thick. A round of artillery fire, you can't kill them. Some of them turned into leopards, some into lions, roosters, orangutans. Everyone has something unique about their abilities. Once let them out of the fire bombardment zone. Rush into the phalanx of soldiers. You can kill in no time. Even if they are pierced by bullets. As long as it's not to the point. After a while, Zone's powerful vitality can stop the bleeding from the wound by himself. Then keep fighting. Even they have a formation of people with flying ability. Keep shooting down fighters that shoot at low altitudes. Losses are increasing at a rate visible to the naked eye. But the most destructive is Quinn. But Ren is satisfied. Because of the first wave of the Allied charge, the entire Beasts Pirates units have been cut apart. Make it impossible for them to communicate in real time. There is no way to uniformly schedule. Let them fight like loose sand. The threat is a little less. Ren is not afraid of their ferocious battle. The fear is that they will fight a defensive war. And not on the initiative. That would not achieve the purpose of consuming their physical strength. Will extend his time to take Wano-kuni. This is not allowed. But they seem to be arrogant and confident. There is a pride in my heart. Who dares to provoke them? Be sure to kill back. That's good. Ren doesn't have much else, it's a lot of troops. He exploded tens of millions of troops just to be safe. No matter what a monster. There are times of exhaustion. This battle, he won. Listen to Quinn. Ren didn't answer. Nothing necessary. What an arrogant fellow, but since you dare to appear in the open, I will reluctantly take off your head. Let me see what is special about the head of the 2 billion bounty. Quinn said coldly. Lord Ren, be careful, this guy is strong. Cyrus has been Ren escort since the first time. Rebecca is often asked to guard Ren. Now they are all Ren exclusive escorts. The instinct of the Cyrus warrior told him. This guy in front of you is probably not much weaker than Doflamingo. Being targeted by this kind of guy. Undoubtedly very dangerous. At the same time, look at the battlefield in front of you. He finally knew why Brother Ming's talk about Kai had changed before. Even without Kaido, Beast's Pirates still embodies terrifying strength. And the will to disregard life and death. Such a group of pirates. I'm afraid no one wants to provoke. Quinn said, striking towards where Ren was. Why do you think you can get close to me? Ren saw Quinn staring at him and had to look at him. But the eyes are calm. I saw it below Ren. The silver-white light flashed. Another 300,000 phalanxes appeared. And so many reinforcements. Quinn stopped. The enemy suddenly increased by hundreds of thousands of troops. This is no joke, even if the combat power of these soldiers is generally lower than that of their pirate group. But the weapons in hand are not weak. And they Beast's pirates do not count the strength of the Kurozumi serpent. There are only more than 20,000 elite people in Wano-kuni. How? Don't think it's enough. Ren waved his left hand. Buzz. Another 300,000 person phalanx appeared on the battlefield. So, is that enough? Ren didn't wait for Quinn to answer. With a wave of his right hand, a large phalanx of 400,000 people appeared below his Kirav airboat. Quinn was completely stunned. All the people of Wano-kuni under the screen also froze. Wave these two hands at will. Just increase the strength of the troops just now several times. That's at least 1 million people. This island area is densely packed with people at the moment. Like a calm Wang Yang. Quinn was also scared. What the hell is this? Millions of troops to reinforce, so easily taken out. Is there still so much force in this world? Are you sure it's not world government in disguise? What is the origin of this allied army? Even if the world government wants to gather more than 1 million troops, it will take a long time. How can there be such a terrible force on this sea? Quote. Fusfer, one of the 6 sons of the Vali, looked at the screen in the sky and said in shock. He was a spy for CP9. Years ago because of the failure of escorting rubber fruit. Featured by 5 elders about prison. Joined Beast's pirates after jailbreaking. He is said to be the 6th son closest to the 3 calamities. The bounty is up to 546 million Baileys. So he is well aware. More than 1 million heavily armed troops. Even the world government can't just gather. And according to the character of those old guys, there can never be such an army. But the reality is that this is true. And hit Wano-kuni to come. If it weren't for his knowledge of marine and the various departments of the world government. He even suspected that this was the army that the world government had worked so hard to disguise. Liar. Who on this sea can have so many troops? 1 million new reinforcements. The confidence of the entire Beast's pirates has been strongly shocked. Even if they alone can take out dozens, hundreds. By that time, the entire pirate group was wiped out. Did they win like that? Besides, the firepower of these guys is too fierce. They are very strong, but under such strong firepower, it is possible to exchange 1 for 100. That's an impossible miracle. The other party is prepared. Let the barbarian come out to clear the scene. I'll help the Quinn guy. Although reluctant. But Fozaifer made the wisest choice right now. Most of the bulliers are comparable in size to Oz. Such a large size would be a target. But that's in the case of a single person. If it is several sorties together, that would surely wreak havoc on a dense crowd. It's those guys who spoil. Sometimes it's easy to hurt your own people. But the number of enemies is so frightening at the moment. They beasts pirates. You have to fight in full force without reservation. Kazumi. Second tooth. 3 ghosts. The bully received an order. Leave the important places they guard and face the battle. Now is a battle for survival. It is necessary to invest every combat force. Rumble. Terrifying footsteps stomped on the ground. It's like a brief strong earthquake. A group of monsters as tall as a mountain came out. Carry various weapons such as maces. They are tall and fierce. Several bombers bombed at low altitude. It hasn't come up yet. It was directly crushed by one of the barbarians with his hand. The bomber was in his hands. It's like a little toy. They are veritable monsters. It also looks like a monster. Many barbarians have sharp devil horns. They are cadres who are ranked higher than the real one. Second only to the 6 sons of the volley. If not for the appearance of not very smart, their status will not be weaker than that of the 6 sons of the volley. These bad guys are out, stay away from them. A small cadre who gives the giver reminds himself. Ha ha ha. With them, no matter how many people are useless, they can trample hundreds of people to death with 1 foot. The pirates are excited again. Kill the intruders. The battle is getting crazier. All kinds of earth-destroying energy shoot indiscriminately. Rays all around. Countless corpses fell, and blood quickly stained the earth. The gunfire roared and never stopped. Billowing gunsmoke fills the battlefield. The whole island of ghosts. At the moment, it is like a bloody hell where monsters and demons dance together. There is no place where war breaks out among the whole of the people of Wano Kuni. People were dumbfounded. War of this scale and madness. Let them be terrified. That man can stand up to beasts pirates head on. In the rabbit bowl chaos, the prisoners were liberated by Allied soldiers. Allied forces and guards fight. The artillery fire is constant, constantly depleting the abilities. These guys are not strong. They are all filling with their lives. Everyone, we are the samurai of Wano Kuni. How can we let the warriors who liberate us continue to fill with their lives? Take up arms and finish off these guys. Hyungoro looked at the jailer Chief Babanuki, the real man, with hundreds of corpses lying at his feet. Finally, I couldn't help but shout. In any case, these soldiers are for the liberation of the rabbit bowl. Died to save them. Their blood is not completely cold. And it doesn't matter who they are. The future is friend or foe. As long as it's the one who wants to kill beasts pirates at the moment. That's all, friends. Let me out, Hyogoro. A voice suddenly came from a heavily guarded cell. River Pine. Ideographic period. Then let's kill together today. Maybe not waiting for that day. But I can't watch the benefactors fall one after another. The diminutive Hyungoro took up arms again. After years of devastation, he thought that he had lost hope and blood in his heart. But watch these soldiers in order to destroy the pirates. To liberate the rabbit bowl. He does not cherish his life in the slightest. One by one, they were sent to death. Even many people directly blew themselves up. This spirit is purer than Bushido. Deeply touched them. Kill them all. Elephant fruit ability, Babanuki said angrily when he saw this. At the same time, I gradually became afraid. He looked at the place of the gate. There is still a steady stream of Allied soldiers rushing in line. Lord Babanuki, there are too many of them to kill. And the situation on Ghost Island doesn't seem to be good. A jailer kills until his hands are soft. The weapon curled up, and his body was also blown up with blood. Slowly, their faith wavered somewhat. Close the gate first, don't take the initiative to meet it, hold here, and when Lord Quinn wins, they will come to our aid. Babanuki hurriedly said. He is determined that Beast's pirates will win. Yes. But this is still useless. Allied Air Command. Paratroopers were dropped. Wave after wave of paratroopers came from the sky. The battle continues. The jailers are decreasing at a rate visible to the naked eye. Use Lord Quinn's plague bomb. Yes, the other party has a means of treatment. Any injury, as long as it enters the gene center, can basically be repaired back to its original state. Impossible, how could we beasts pirates? Babanuki was completely overwhelmed by gunfire. The flames that could not be extinguished burned alive him, an elephant fruit-capable person. The same situation played out in Julie and the capital of flowers. Maybe you can really win. This attack on Kaido's forces, a lot of troops. Kazuki Hiyori's beautiful eyes are different. There are so many huge troops. You can't see the edge at a glance. It's so oppressive. Like an endless ocean stands there. It can never be wiped out. Maybe it's possible for outsiders to win this war, but Kaido is still there. Even if they win this battle, once Kaido returns. But Quinn and others compared to Kaido. That's not a monster. Kazuki Hiyori was also silent. In Wano Kuni for so many years. She's also seen Kaido make several shots. Every time I make a move, it's like a god in the world. When you raise your hands and feet, there is a world-destroying pouring of energy. And the whole of Wano Kuni fighting elsewhere. Compared to the island of ghosts at the moment. But insignificant. The people on the island are killing crazy. The bloody battle lasted for more than half an hour. Black Maria's spider silk webs shelter hordes of soldiers. Then the mouth is opened to protrude from the flames, and the flames burn the cobwebs. Instantly form a sea. Burned many allied soldiers to ashes. She is also adept at using a variety of melee weapons. Block shells, smash tanks, and be fierce. There are also many wandering girls with good strength around her. But they were quite depressed. Their illusions and fogs, which are very useful to men. In front of this group of soldiers, it was useless. It's as if these guys have no desire. It's also terrible. How come these men don't even have the most basic desires? So they were killed a lot. Can't finish killing. Black Maria nimbly dodged the beam of light from a prism tower. After stopping, he gasped violently. The artillery fire of the other side did not stop for a second. This defies common sense. With so many soldiers, don't you need to replenish the ammunition for guns? How could there be no time for respite and regrouping? She felt like she had killed a lot of people. But the enemy in front of you. It seems that it is not decreasing, but increasing. The artillery fire of the attack also intensified. That devastating beam of light. If you can dodge. She won't hard connect. Hardwired with armament Haki. But Haki uses it and exerts himself extremely quickly. She was keenly aware that the other party was using human lives to consume their physical strength. What a terrible little devil, a ruthless conductor than Lord Kaido. Black Maria looked deeply at the figure standing calmly among the iron birds. The sense of crisis in my mind rises to ultimate. Ren was also jealous of it like never before. Even Kaido-sama doesn't consume his vital power like this. Can't afford to consume at all. She also wanted to rush in front of Ren. Solve this boss. But there are too many troops entangled in her. You can't kill enough. If she is not careful, she will also get hurt. It's not just her. The other cadres were isolated. Bang! Suddenly this bully fell. The behemoth fell, deafening. Everyone saw it. The brute bully is indeed ferocious. A tooth rushes to the forefront. Foot on tank groups, hand clap planes, stick sweep the army of 10,000 people. Like a prehistoric monster recreating the earth. As soon as he appeared, he carved out a path to the direction of Ren alive with the barbarian overlord. More than 7,000 soldiers died at his hands. But the size is large, and it is also constantly bombarded. He was still in the forefront. Enough firepower. 500 tanks fired a salvo, hundreds of bombers in a volley. The prism tower shoots dozens of enhanced lasers at the same time. Hundreds of self-detonators fell on various parts of his body. Punched his monster-like body alive. His body is full of holes. Like a honeycomb. His fall. Let all Quinn, Maria, Sasaki and other strong people have a Rin in their hearts. There was the first behemoth to fall. There will definitely be a second, a third. How can the other party's firepower still be so fierce? This is also caused by the ability to do this. Over time, the more Sasaki fought, the more frightened he became. His armored forces ran out of all their ammunition. The opponent's bullets, but the shells seem to be infinite. This is on their territory. How come the other side has more supplies than them? In fact, the Ren system offers unlimited bullets and shells. There were also many corpses lying at the feet of each of them. They recognized the courage of these soldiers from the beginning. Gradually to admiration, to now fear. Even if these soldiers are loyal. They also saw a lot of soldiers who were not afraid of death. But just to cause a little flesh and skin injury to the other party. Expend a little bit of stamina. Soldiers who can give their lives without hesitation. They are afraid. If they beasts pirates are the legion of fearlessness, then one is the army of devils from hell. Death seems to be the destination of their pursuit. But fearless meets the devil. The heart of fearless began to fill with fear. Such an army, such a force, such a maniac, can they really win? These guys are crazy, crazy, I won't kill them. Don't kill. Suddenly a giver looked at his praying mantis, hands bladed. Killed until he broke his own bones. The whole person was also bathed in blood. The blood was so sticky that it lingered on him. Every time he kills someone, he suffers in his heart. Not everyone can kill without changing their face. Kill 1, 10 maybe. But to a certain extent, the heart will begin to crumble. There is no doubt that the pirate collapsed. He shouted, hissed, and fled the battlefield. Useless waste, what's the matter, still can't contact Kaido-sama and Ember. Fuzfu incarnated as an ancient saber-toothed tiger. Fight in the crowd, flooded by artillery fire, knocking out the incoming laser beam. Carrying the attack of the self-detonating soldier hard. Even if it is an ancient breeder, nor can it withstand constant destruction. Injuries have been found in many places. He realized that this would go on. They may be consumed alive. The enemy's fire became more and more ferocious. There are more and more pillboxes around it and towers that can shoot lasers. The firepower will only get stronger. And they beasts pirates. Almost a third of them have lost their combat effectiveness. Drag on, time and troops are not on their side. The situation is no longer as rosy as it was just now. The enemy's attacks were crazier than they thought. Can't be contacted, communication is disrupted. This guy singled out Lord Kaido's absence. Did they think that if they took Wano Kuni, they could withstand Lord Kaido's wrath? Fuzfu said angrily. Cut a tank straight through with one claw. But it didn't work. The silver-white light flashed. A team of 20 tanks suddenly appeared in place. Rumbled towards him. This is the power that Kaido Big Brother has developed for many years, and it must not be consumed like this, otherwise even if I win in the end, what face will I have to face Big Brother Kaido? Quinn also went crazy. He was covered in blood, advancing alone against millions of legions. After killing tens of thousands of people, there are also at least dozens of wounds all over the body. There are burns, cannon marks, beam hits, but puddles of blood that are pierced. But the ancient breeders did resist beating. If Brother Ming was injured like this, I am afraid that I will not be able to continue to fight with such flexibility as him. You are also a bounty criminal with a bounty of 2 billion, don't you even dare to fight me? You coward! Quinn hissed in the direction of Ren in a bit of anger. He soared into the air. Want to kill Ren from the air. But he did it. A Kirov airboat loaded with explosives crashed directly into him. Boom! The sea of fire covered the small half of the sky. He was also blown up from the air and landed to the ground. He vomited a few mouthfuls of blood, and there were a few more hideous blood marks on his body. But stood up again. You are stupid, I am not stupid, all these troops are my strength, and it is time to send you on the road. Ren looked flat at the incompetent and furious Quinn. Since sacrifice is inevitable, let them do their last thing. Quinn suddenly pulled out the mummy virus. In such a situation where both the enemy and we are entangled together, he really didn't want to use it if he could. One use, their side will also suffer heavy losses. But break through this army. He couldn't do it better. Ren pointed to the sky with his hand. Thunderclouds quickly converged in the sky. Superweapon, 20 weather controllers, fully functional. Right now, New World, near Hive Island. A flaming pterosaur flew through the air. Followed by a green dragon. Redhead, always bad for me, one day, you will die in my hands. Kaido opened his dragon's mouth and roared angrily. He finally found out that Whitebeard's last assembly place was Hive Pirate Island. But halfway through, he was blocked by the redhead. Just now they had a fight. Wait for him to get to the hive. The Whitebeard pirates have gone to the empty building. He flew high into the air. All you see is the endless sea. There is not the slightest trace of the fleet of the Whitebeard pirates at all. They either had already set off a day or two before. Either those who have the ability cover his fleet. Brother Kaido, what now? Ember asked. It's too hard to find Whitebeard. Before the war, Whitebeard would have hidden his tracks. Wait until the day of execution. He will appear. Go back to Wano Kuni. Whitebeard guy is gone. It's almost impossible to come back alive. blame the red-haired imp, let me miss the opportunity to kill Whitebeard at the end. Kaido said, rather depressed. He said and took out the jug directly, drinking heavily in the air. The public execution of Marine headquarters this time may be broadcast live to the world. Ember reminded. This is news from the underworld. I know, the other day I asked that Morgan guy to be free to come to Wano Kuni to install the strongest live call bug on 203. Kaido nodded. Since you can't finish Whitebeard with your own hands. At least it depends on how he dies. And what will the Marine headquarters pay? For them, the top powerhouses. Whitebeard fights Marine headquarters. The outcome can basically be guessed. It's just a matter of what Marine headquarters is willing to pay to win. Face several times your own strength. How far can that old man of Whitebeard fight? Want to work wonders. Survive Marine and return to New World. It's so hard. I asked about the situation, The signal is not good, and the field snail can't be connected. Quinn, this guy won't have another banquet and get drunk. Ember frowned. Gurgle, banquet is a good thing, you can drink to your heart's content. Kaido laughed disapprovingly. They didn't care too much either. It is impossible for Ant to attack Wano Kuni. Whitebeard is even less likely at the moment. The redhead had just clashed, and it was still in this sea. So I didn't think anything could go wrong with Wano Kuni. Brother Kaido, do you want to go to Dressrosa to meet the leader of the allied forces? Kill the imps of the celestial dragons. No rush. See how long he can live against 2 billion Bailey's head. He must really have the strength. Go back, drink. You just want to drink the bar first. Ember was slightly speechless. This time it's not for speed. Bring Quinn, Jack and them, maybe I can stop red hair pirates completely. Ember said with some regret. When encountering red hair pirates, he struck decisively and went to intercept the redheads. I wanted to buy more time for Kaido's big brother. But failed. It's not your fault, Redhead and Beckman, the strength has improved again over the years. Kaido's eyes were slightly condensed, quite heavy. Our strength and the strength of our subordinates have also increased greatly over the years, and we have to find a way to restore the production chain of artificial fruits. Ember also said proudly. Draw resources at Wano Kuni. Wanton development of arsenals. There's also the man-made devil fruit. Many strong people have turned to them. Over the decades, their power has grown dramatically. This will be a powerful hole card for them to conquer the world. The 6 sons of the volley, the barbarian bully, the real fight, and the gifter are the bones and blood of beasts pirates. It is also the hard work of him and Kaido's big brother. It is Kaido's big brother who has cherished talents for 20 or 30 years. A team that has been built up hard. Go back, let everyone prepare for the battle. Once Whitebeard really falls, his territory, Redhead and Ant, they will not let go, we can't miss it. Kaido said lightly. Beasts pirates also needs more talent and strong. More plates are also needed. The two rushed towards Wano Kuni. Really, did that guy from Kaido still think he was the king of the new world, and he was summoned to Uncle Ben to come and go? In the airspace not far from Wano Kuni. A rudimentary empty boat, drifting leisurely. News bird King Morgans complained with a slight dissatisfaction. Build a signal tower that can receive video telephone bugs. Just let your subordinates do it. Could there be any other purpose? Now he is in the waters under Kaido's jurisdiction. Nor send someone to pick it up. I really don't understand the hospitality at all. Strange, Wano Kuni looks like he's at war, and it's not small. Morgans had clairvoyance-like abilities. Although it is still some distance from Wano Kuni. But you can vaguely see the wolfish Wano Kuni. Nobody really attacked Wano Kuni at this time, right? Or is it just a binge? Morgan's curiosity gradually rose. Watch your own men and horses keep falling. Quinn didn't hesitate any longer. Pick up a Gatling machine gun. Loaded with mummified virus bullets. Shoot wildly at the sea of people in front of you. Give it all to Uncle Ben to die. Ahahaha, da. A catapult of the plague was fired and fell into the Allies. The Allies hit by bullets instantly became hot. The heat gradually spreads from the place of hit to the whole body. It won't take long. Blood will gush out. After death, the body will dry up like a mummy. And as long as you touch an infected person, you can also get infected immediately. How dare you use it? Then don't blame yourself for walking painfully. This viral means. Ren is not nothing. I just didn't want to use it all this time. First, it is too brutal. Second, it will cause long-term damage to the land. But now Ren is before launching a lightning storm. Gotta let Quinn taste it, too. Quinn saw the enemy fall for his mummy. Covered in injuries, he showed a smug smile. He couldn't wait to see Ren show a panicked expression. Mummies can spread quickly as long as they come into contact. The more troops he has, the more he passes. Although so, his subordinates will also be affected. Don't do that. They have been consumed. The end result will be even worse. Ah, the Allied soldiers screamed. Ha ha ha, it's over, this is the masterpiece of Plague Quinn. The sea of people tactics have a fart use, and it will be us who will win in the end. Kurozumi the serpent looked at the sky screen and smiled triumphantly. He saw the soldiers, 10 infected by 100. 100 infected with 1,000. Even Beast's pirates' subordinates were hit. The pirates scurried around in fear. This will create more infections. Actually use a virus. Kazuki Hiyori looked at the battlefield that was supposed to be purgatory. Another such inhuman means. I couldn't help but change my face. Beast's pirates lost. Sure enough, it was just wishful thinking. They are terrible, powerful, fearless, mean, ruthless. It is the embodiment of evil. This is an unsolvable virus. Hyogoro cooperated with the Allies. The rabbit bowl has been taken. But at the moment, looking at the status quo of live broadcast on the sky screen, they also felt desperate, especially the prisoners in the rabbit bowl. I know the origin of the title of Quinn Epidemic. Anyway, I killed a lot of obtrusive guys, and I don't lose if I die, but it's a pity that I couldn't wait for the day that Mrs. She said. The river song sword was stained with blood. Just the next second, when everyone thought that this mummy virus would spread wildly. But they saw an extremely shocking scene. Fired by Quinn with a machine gun. The Allied soldiers who fell victim to the virus did not flee in fear like Beast's pirates. Instead, he silently raised the weapon in his hand. Aimed at his own head. Long live the Allies. Bang bang. Without the slightest hesitation, they pulled the trigger. More than thousands of Allied troops died in an instant. The mummy virus was not given the opportunity to harm other companions. Seeing this, Quinn's smug smile froze. The entire battlefield was even silent for a moment. Everyone in front of the screen was even more dumbfounded. Such a crisp and neat suicide shocked everyone's heart. And not a two. Instead, thousands of infected Allied troops did so. Not a single one hesitated. How is this possible? Even the well-trained and determined members of Beast's pirates. At this moment, it is also a cry of fear. I hope my companions can help them. Many of their companions and allies were infected by their touch. Quinn felt a chill in his heart. He had never seen such a crazy army. Is there really not a single hesitation? What kind of devils are these? Cold sweat slipped down his forehead. The battlefield was silent for a moment. Black Maria, Sasaki, Fusfer and other cadres all felt the cold wind. Such troops, it's crazy. Too unrealistic. It simply doesn't look like a force that can exist in the world. Are they really going to lose? Kaido-sama, where are you? Even if they kill themselves, our people can infect. Quinn wanted to say something. Halfway through the words, he froze. He saw a man wearing a green protective suit. Soldiers with green cannon barrels walked from the crowd to the pirates. The barrel of the gun was filled with a green liquid. All the Allied forces in the vicinity saw this. Judo retreated hundreds of meters at the same time. What? The idea just arose in everyone's mind. All they heard was a soft pop. The barrel in the soldier's hand cracked. A flash of green light flashed. Instantly covers a range of 20 meters in diameter. The soldier died first, and after death radiated for 4 weeks. In order to carry out a range of damage. Pirates within this distance. There was not even a scream, and under the green radiation, the body instantly turned into blood. Directly melted. What the hell is this? A pirate cadre with a bounty of more than 100 million was directly frightened and took several steps back. With a burst of green light, the earth in the range turned into an ominous green. All living beings in the range were melted by the terrible radiation. This way of dying made everyone's hearts hairy. They are demons. Absolutely devil. We can't win them. Quote. The most vicious pirates will also have times to collapse. Lord Quinn, be careful. Suddenly there was a scream next to Quinn. He was also shocked and distracted just now. Hear the reminder and look around. It was discovered that a dozen such radiation sappers had surrounded him. Find death. In Quinn's mouth, his hand subconsciously fired lasers at the same time. Shoot these soldiers to detonate. But the moment it killed them, Quinn's face changed first. Oops. Whoops. Radiation from all sides filled the surroundings. Drown Quinn. Quinn armed hockey, mechanical, ancient species super physical fitness. All defenses run to ultimate. But there was still a miserable scream. This scream made every beast's pirate feel strongly uneasy. It seems that it can indeed break the defense against you monsters. Ren said lightly. This is meant to deal with your boss. Quinn is still standing, but his body is in tatters. Those radiant green lights can't be completely blocked. They penetrated into every pore of him. Corroding his flesh and blood, he now barely protects his internal organs with hockey. At the same time, because of its own monster physique. Only to carry such a terrible soldier. On the road. All lightning storms ready. Blow up. Thundered. 10,000 thunder heavenly citation. In the thunderclouds, a crazy thunderstorm strikes at Quinn, Maria and other cadres who were entangled by the allies. Boom boom boom. Lightning bolts continued to bombard Quinn. They resisted many bolts of lightning. But the lightning fury is incomparably dense. Can't stop for a while. The lightning storm lasted for more than a minute. The sky will be torn apart by lightning. Many pirates simply can't carry this natural disaster weapon. Quinn carried a lot of lightning on his shoulders, trying to escape from the bombing range. If there are no injuries, such lightning. With his physical fitness, he can resist. After all, this superweapon is mainly aimed at machinery and equipment. Quinn is not only a machine body, but also an ancient breeder. With the state of the able, he can resist a lot. But the injuries accumulated in the early stage, the damage of the radiation sappers. It is already difficult for him to resist this attack damage anymore. He escaped a storm of lightning. Ren is right above other areas. Another batch of lightning storms was created. At the same time, the Allied soldiers rushed over at any cost. Stop him, hold him down. Bombed with Allied soldiers after. Big Brother Kaido won't let you go. Quinn let out a final roar. While withstanding lightning storms, it was also hit by hundreds of enhanced laser beams. Several directly penetrated the body. The whole body fell with a bang. Lord Quinn. No, how could Master Quinn lose? Lord Mary is also defeated. Sasaki-sama was bombarded. We lost. The cadres at Beast's Pirates are in disbelief. Lay down your arms, surrender without killing. Ren picked up the communicator and met everyone's shocked and awed eyes. Announcement full Wano-kuni. Big Brother, you will be in Wano-kuni soon. Don't go wrong. Last time you got drunk on a desert island and slept for 3 days and 3 nights. Ember reminded. He could already see Wano-kuni towering over the sea. Got it, it's wordy. Kaido turned into a green dragon and flew a little drunk. I thought I would be able to have another big drink right away. I can't wait to speed up towards Wano-kuni. But just close to the Wano-kuni border. Thousands of missiles suddenly whizzed towards Kaido. Ha! Kaido's dragon pupils shrank. Boom! Countless missiles hit Kaido directly. Blow him up a little confused. Isn't this his own home base? He was bombed by his own subordinates. Because it's your own home. Kaido didn't even see it. He never dreamed that he would be bombed in front of his house. This explosion did not cause any injuries. He looked up, but his eyes suddenly froze. He saw Wano-kuni in smoke. And more importantly, at the top of Wano-kuni, the flag of Beast's Pirates was replaced. Kaido came to his senses all at once. He instantly realized the seriousness of the problem, and Wano-kuni changed owners. He went out for a trip, and it didn't take long. When I came back, my home was gone. Quinn fell. Other cadres also died. Wound of injury. Originally, there were people who were extremely fast. Even a falling mine can't hit them. But to this moment, they learned why the mountains were full of soldiers. These soldiers rushed up. As long as they can't fly, they can be dragged by it. As soon as the allies dragged on, they had nowhere to escape. Listen to Ren's words of persuasion. The entire 4 Emperor's pirates. It's like a dream. They Beast's Pirates lost. Even if Kaido-sama is not there. They also have tens of thousands of elites. There are hundreds of powerful people. multiple zone ancient breeders, but he lost under the opponent's sea of people tactics. Their preliminary estimates, soldiers who died at their hands. At least 500,000 people. Of course, their casualties also exceeded 15,000. But even so, the other party still maintained the previous sea of people attack. Don't take human life for life at all. The corpses were piled up on all sides. The battle has never been more tragic. People who watched the live broadcast without knowing thought that this young man named Ren was there. There must be a blood feud with 4 emperors Kaido that outsiders cannot understand. This style of play is polite to draw salaries from the bottom of the kettle. It should be called the desperate play. How much hatred is this, so to defeat them at all costs? Hiyori had never seen such a fight. Battles filled with human lives at all. Never before have the samurai of the Wano-kuni uprising been so tragic over the years. This lightning is not a coincidence, it is manipulated by man. Mad Dead Lang said with reluctance. Thunderstorms layer by layer. This kind of thunderous natural disaster. How many people can resist? Even if he asked himself if he could kill one of the volley sixths. There is no way to withstand this continuous lightning storm. Not to mention on the battlefield. There is also a dense rain of various fire attacks. Impossible, impossible. The Quinn guy actually lost. What about Kaido? Fulu Sho, contact Kaido. Kurozumi was completely panicked. In the last second, he was convinced that Beast's pirates would win. Quinn wins. But that's it for a while. Quinn fell. Beast's pirates rout. 04, can't be contacted. Fulu Sho, the ninja captain, said with a heavy face. He didn't expect Beast's pirates, which dominates a sea area, to lose. Most importantly, Kaido couldn't get in touch. Home is gone, doesn't that guy from Kaido know? Provoke such a formidable enemy. Just feel free to leave Wano-kuni at will. Run away, wait for Kaido to come back, we'll come back. Kurozumi said in horror. Fulu Sho has no problem thinking about it. Beast's pirates isn't a complete loser. Kaido is still there, not yet to the worst. Bang. But just as they were about to flee, one after another light prism lasers are shot. Shot through one building after another. Carpet bombing. Leave many ninjas hidden kung fu useless. Under the onslaught of a huge number of soldiers. Even if they kill 120,000. Or even 100,000. For Ren, who has tens of millions of troops. It's all just drizzle. So Kurozumi was quickly captured alive. Before being captured, he asked Fulu Sho to cut off his head. Trying to play dead is too much. After all, he is the Phantom Beast species Yagi Great Snake ability. Cut off a head, and you will lose a life. He had 8 lives. Normally, seeing the enemy's head move, would have thought he was dead. Will not pay attention to him again. But the allies did not. They took the corpse of the Kurozumi serpent with them. This makes Kurozumi pretend to be dead with a big snake. There was a roar of impotence in my heart. Are these guys perverts? I'm all dead. I even want my own corpse. What should I do now? The announcement resounded throughout Wano-kuni. The remaining 10,000 or so Beast's Pirates members on Ghost Island looked at each other. Which of you dares to surrender? When Brother Kaido comes back, he will die. Black Maria saw quite a few pirates wavering. Immediately, regardless of his injuries, hold up and scold at all the pirates. Pirates, no matter how loyal, once suffering defeat, there will be people who choose to betray in order to live. Hear Black Maria, the hesitant pirates, their eyes full of unease. But right then, with one move, Ren completely broke the will of the remaining people to resist. Even when Black Maria saw this, she couldn't say a word, dumbfounded. Ren raised his hands, and in an instant, 2 million people appeared on the island of ghosts. Fill the entire land of the island of Oni almost. Crouch, Fuzifu, the volley 6, couldn't help but burst into foul language. Face the enemy's army of about 1.5 million. All of them struggled with all their might. Fill in most of the Beast's pirates. Only about 500,000 were killed. The enemy blink of an eye. That's another 2 million troops. Is this something that people can do? Why would there be someone in this world master such a terrible force? It's hard for world governments to do that. More than 3 million soldiers. At this moment, it was like an airtight curtain covering the entire Ghost Island. Looking around, except for the lonely 10,000 pirates in the middle. Everywhere else, it was a foothold for the Allies. How is this possible? How is it possible? One was trembling and terrified. It's desperate. Down with 500,000, increase by 2 million. How can this be? The more the enemy fights. It's simply endless. That man is so powerful, Yamato said with a look of disbelief as he looked at the world outside the bars. The troops entered the sea in vast, just standing. At this moment, it gives people a sense of oppression that cannot be breathed. Too much. She had never seen so many people in her life. I just don't know what purpose this man came for. If it's to destroy Wano-kuni, she will never allow it. Thinking, Yamato looked outside as the guards were gone. Forcefully opened the entire iron gate. In the past 6 months, her strength has improved a lot. But it has never been revealed. Just to find the right opportunity to escape from the cage. Boom. The giver has been thoroughly convinced. The weapon in his hand could not be grasped and fell to the ground. The whole person was also paralyzed. There is no desire to fight again. Tired. Destroy if you want to destroy. Hurry. Surrender and live a little longer. If we kill Kaido, then you don't have to worry that Kaido will kill you. Ren said somewhat murderously. Once the choice is surrender. There are many pirates in it. I'm afraid I don't see 4 Emperors Kaido as a savior anymore. Instead, it was an object to be destroyed. After all, betrayers are afraid of being purged. I surrender. You guys. Someone wants to prevent them from surrendering. But he was killed by the laser beam emitted by the Prism Tower. Cadres such as Black Maria and Phosphor also chose to remain silent. This moment, on a ghost island. They are gone. Big Brother Kaido is here. Even if you can win, from now on, Beast's Pirates is bound to be decimated. They died too many elites. All those who surrendered. All were controlled and put on shackles. Kurozumi and other captives were also transported to the island of Oni from all over Wano-kuni. The remnants of Beast's Pirates elsewhere are seeing this. They all turned into darkness and hidden. In the melee, many pirates did break the siege. Except for Ghost Island. Ghost Island Ren personally sits and monitors every battle zone. And constantly adjusts the firepower of the arrangement. And it is the place with the largest number of troops. All were taken. Many allied troops entered the building. Dig the ground and find all the people who tried to hide. It's over, we actually won. Cyrus looked incredulously at the replaced flag. 4 emperors, the overlord of King's Landing New World for many years. In addition to Kaido himself and several cadres. It was just taken off by them. And, no, it's not hard to take Wano-kuni, the hardest thing is how to get the 4 emperors Kaido Behemoth. The real battle is only now beginning. With him, we can really win Wano-kuni. Next, I will teleport all my forces. Kaido once back, catch him off guard. Ren didn't let up in the slightest. Under Ren provisioning, all over Wano-kuni, another 5 million soldiers were added in an instant. A total of more than 8 million soldiers sit in Wano-kuni. The remaining more than 1 million troops sit on the other islands. At the same time, it can appear in various places as a surprise soldier. This scene is still playing on the big screen. Everyone who watched this scene was numb. There are so many troops. This was so large that everyone was shocked and speechless. The scalp is numb, the mind is swaying. Saying this is not a dream. They all lost some disbelief. The whole of Wano-kuni is now full of tank lines of fire. Dense human firing line. The entire country. Every mountain range has become a trench. Every basin has become a position. In every sky, flocks of iron birds patrol the sky. Thousands of warships around Ghost Island were facing outwards in unison. As long as Kaido is over Wano-kuni, warship artillery fire can be covered. Now it's not just the Ghost Island that has become a military zone. Instead, the entire Wano-kuni became a beast of fire that seemed to be armed to the teeth. Prism towers have been erected in every village of Wano-kuni. One by one, Patriot anti-aircraft missiles sprung up. Countless tank fighting vehicles with air defense. Batch after batch were transmitted. Thousands of soul ores were scattered throughout the various areas of Wano-kuni. Race against time to collect soul ore. In order to meet Ren overhaul of Wano-kuni. More than 800,000 people phalanx. It is spread in mountains, castles, and basins. Every place is equipped with countless air-to-ground firepower. 100 nuclear bomb wells and 100 weather controllers are scattered in hidden places. Isn't it already won? Why is this army getting tougher and tighter? Oh my God. A large number of soldiers have appeared in every village. There are also many strange buildings that appear out of thin air. Is he a god? I see. This group of fools wants to hunt Lord Kaido. Fuzfur and the others are bound to the clearing. There is no place to hold them for the time being. Look at the fierce lineup on the screen, waiting for the formation. He reacted immediately. This maniac, with an absolutely terrifying amount. The entire Wano Kuni was transformed into an unprecedented military power in an instant. That firepower covered the entire Wano Kuni. It is not at all a grade from what was dealt with just now. They look as if they are very familiar with defensive warfare. Fuzfur even felt that it was just a volley. The entire sky over Wano Kuni will become a metal king sun of destruction. Such a dense fire arrangement. Unheard. This requires not only large forces. It requires unparalleled command ability to complete. And the island of ghosts could not accommodate so many troops before. Naturally, I have never enjoyed this kind of firepower treatment. And such a grand arrangement. There can only be one goal for the enemy. That's hunting Kaido-sama. They knew Lord Kaido would definitely return. So this kind of fire arrangement was arranged that made his scalp numb and his heart split at a glance. In this way, the entire Wano Kuni has become a powder keg, radiating the firepower of the entire country. Even the guy from Kaido may not be able to resist. Hyungoro and the other prisoners were dumbfounded. Wano Kuni is not small, but now every inch of land seems to be arranged with super firepower. This is if only one volley at the same time. They couldn't believe how terrifying this power could be. It's really impossible to imagine. Because the entire inhabitants of Wano Kuni combined are not more than half of these soldiers. Not to mention the strange military buildings that quickly popped up. As many as the stars. But the only thing that can be known is 203. Once this army is powerful, it will be like the wrath of the sky. Don't figure it out. Not measurable. Madman, madman. Many pirate cadres did not expect. They are so bold. Just took Wano Kuni. He immediately thought of a plan to ambush Lord Kaido. Look at that kind of fire arrangement on the screen. No one dares to say that Kaido will win. The whole territory is full of all kinds of firepower. It's outrageous. Such forces should not exist in reality. They seem to be witnessing miracles, the birth of myths. Lord Kaido. Black Maria didn't even long for Kaido-sama to return to Wano Kuni at this moment. She looked at the firepower. Fear felt. Kaido-sama is extremely strong, though. But in the face of such firepower, can it really resist? Where the hell did this monster army come from? With a terrifying force that the world government does not have at the moment. More than 8 million troops. All departments of the world marine, world government combined. I'm afraid there are no such troops. At the moment, Wano Kuni perimeter border. Morgan's empty boat is advancing. Just now Kaido flew under him. He was going to stop Kaido. But those two guys are so fast. I didn't see him, so I flew over with a bang. Then Morgan saw the scene where Kaido was bombarded by countless missiles just now. He was shocked and incomprehensible. Kaido was hammered in front of his house. Crouch. It's definitely big news, and the flag of Wano Kuni has changed. Although I don't know exactly what happened. But the intuition of the newsman tells me that this is definitely a big event that can change the situation in the underground world. It's worth my personal follow-up. Morgans got excited. He immediately dialed the phone worm who was in the Aqua Star Island partner. Hey, Lone Shark, I found a super big news. 4 Emperors Kaido was hammered in front of his own door. You immediately publicize it. I will broadcast it live. Those old guys are not complaining that there has been no big news for a long time. I have a hunch, today will be a big news. Speed up to arrange an underground world live show. Earn the attention of those heroes. Morgans, you're not drunk. Who has the ability to attack Kaido's base camp at this time? It's because it's impossible. Trust my instincts. Are you sure? Those guys like to open gambling. If you don't have exciting news, they will be in a bad mood at that time, and our business will be affected. Quote, rich and dangerous, if we can get a piece of exciting news, they will also give affirmation to our business ability, then we will be able to make a lot of money. If you don't plan to bet on this, I will find someone else. Don't be. Did you really see Kaido being bombed in Wano-kuni? That's right. And I see that the Wano-kuni flag has changed. Something must be happening. Medea. Bet. Then a blockbuster news headline instantly set off an uproar in the underground world. The headline reads, 4 Emperors Kaido hammered in front of his house. Thunder 8 trigrams. A group of soldiers enter the buildings of the Ghost Island. Suddenly there was a flash of thunder. Then it was swept out. What are your reasons for coming to Wano-kuni? Yamato walked out of the building with a wolf-sheep stick, looking directly at Ren not far away. Yamato. Ren is holding the tablet. Visualize the system as a hologram. The entire Wano-kuni was remodeled and arranged as Kaido's tomb. Use all firepower. Looking at the extremely well-developed and majestic in front of him, wearing a mask and having 2 horns on his head. Woman holding a mace and wearing a sleeveless close-fitting kimono. Recognize her at a glance. A woman who considers herself a man because she worships Kazuki Odin. Daughter of 4 emperors Kaido. But the relationship between father and daughter is extremely bad. Kaido raised this daughter like a cheat. Didn't give any warmth. Overbearing, restricts her personal freedom. The handcuffs on your hands, just take them off. There will be a big explosion that will kill her. Yamato is currently dubious about this. But in reality, it does explode. Her strength is not weaker than any of the 3 calamities. Phantom beast species fruit ability. Once a stick overturned the 6 sons of the volley. Also fought extremely fiercely with Kaido. As for whether Kaido is merciful, Ren can't be sure of this. But Yamato is a woman who understands righteousness and is heroic. Although he is jokingly called great filial piety. But it doesn't matter if she's influenced by Odin. Let's see through Wano-kuni's tragedy. She wanted Wano-kuni to open the country. Let the people of Wano-kuni live well. From this point of view, their philosophies do not conflict. Listen to Yamato. Many people looked up at the screen in the sky. The people of Wano-kuni also want to know. What is this man coming to Wano-kuni for? My goal is the same as yours. Ren didn't choose to get hands-on. This is a combat power that can compete with the 4 emperors for a long time before losing. And it feels like a very good fool of the kind of people. If you can strive to become the combat power of the allied forces, that's the best. What's the same as me? Yamato was inexplicable. I've never seen this man before. Does he know what he wants? As long as this person is the next Kaido, Yamato can't sit idly by. The country has suffered enough. Open the country for Wano-kuni so that everyone can eat. Ren didn't talk about ideals. Just a down-to-earth meal. But it made Wano-kuni move the eyes of countless people at this moment. For the current people of Wano-kuni, what lofty ideals, dreams are fake. People in this country are starving to death every day. Only 1 sentence to eat enough. It really speaks to the hearts of the people. Wano-kuni, is it saved? It doesn't matter if it's true or not. There are many people who choose to believe in Ren at this moment. He could have made up a bunch of reasons to fool them. There are even such forces. Don't say anything deliberately. Direct violent rule. And who can do with him? But he said that he wanted to open the country and let everyone eat. Really? Yamato stared into Ren's eyes. I wanted to find a hint of a lie in his eyes. But Ren did not weaken his gaze calmly. Can this still be fake? Wano-kuni was his country right away. Who doesn't want their country to be prosperous and powerful? He's not Kurozumi's retarded thing. Do you want to follow me to supervise? If I can't do it one day, you can behead me. Ren invited directly. Yamato stopped talking all of a sudden. Who are these people? What does he want to do? I tell you, I'm a man. Yamato looked at Ren suspiciously. It's not like the womanizer in Odin's diary. So how to meet? He invited himself directly. All of a sudden, she made herself a little embarrassed. Oh yes, then there's time to take a shower together. Ren was speechless. Such obvious physical characteristics. You tell me you're a man. The man's heart is forgotten. Body unless looking for Ivankov. Otherwise who believes you are a man? I don't bathe with strangers. Yamato shook his head and refused. However, I will follow you. If you can't do what you just said, I won't let you go, Yamato think. I have nowhere to go anyway. And he said it all. If you refuse, doesn't it seem that his determination to protect Wano-kuni is too weak? No, Odin's determination is not that weak. Agreed so easily. Now it was Ren's turn to be unexpected. But with her grinning personality. It's not impossible. But I can't leave this island. Yamato suddenly remembers that he is still a prisoner. 0. Can't leave the ghost island. Let's talk about this later, your father is here. Huh, what do you say? Yamato didn't react for a moment. I said, Kaido is back, wait until I kill your dad first, we'll talk about the rest of the matter. Ren looked serious. Oh, Yamato felt weird. Cyrus is ashamed, is it really good to talk like this? But the woman didn't seem to think there was anything wrong. Is it really a descendant of Kaido? It's a really complicated relationship. The people in front of the screen were also slightly speechless. But since he is willing to be monitored, explain what he just said about letting Wano Kuni open the country. Feeding the people may not be just talk. Ren is gradually being remembered. The whole army is ready. Prepare to slaughter the emperor. Ren said calmly. But his eyes flickered with a blazing flame. This scene also made the entire people of Wano Kuni instantly nervous. Kaido is back, captain of Beast's pirates, the culprit that dominated the entire Wano Kuni for decades. One of the 4 emperors of New World. A man known as the strongest creature. On the sea, bounty up to 4,611.1 million Bailey monsters. Quinn, get me out. What the hell is going on here? Kaido looked at the waterfall. An allied pirate flag planted at the top of a reef peak. He is somewhat unacceptable. How long have you only been out by yourself? Back Wano Kuni's flags have changed. In the world of pirates, this usually means that the place has been knocked down. Someone else's territory. But Kaido is not defeated yet, he is still alive. Who dares to move their own base camp? Aren't you afraid that your anger will burn them all? On the sea, there are default pirate rules. Want to take the other party's base camp. Unless it is to kill the other captain. Otherwise you could destroy his subordinates today. He can fight back with the same means. In that case, both sides could eventually become light pole commanders. So when the captain of the opposing side was not taken out, usually no one will copy the house and plant the flag first, and then fight the master. It is generally after the death of the owner. Then take everything for yourself. But this force in front of you, obviously not playing cards according to the routine. Ignore him and shoot directly at your own subordinates. This is taboo for pirates. Let him be furious. Kaido soars into the air, rising higher and higher. Accompanied by an angry roar. Conqueror's haki exploded like a storm. Sweep around. This made the coastal residents of Wano Kuni close to this side faint in an instant. Formed storms, such as high winds blowing throughout Wano Kuni. Looking at the huge green dragon in the distant sky. An invisible sense of terrible oppression pervades. Let them subconsciously hold their breath. Feel like you can choke at any moment. Kaido's rage has broken through the sky. His dragon claws grip the clouds. Swing the dragon body and swim above Wano Kuni. He wanted to see. What kind of thing who doesn't know whether to live or die dares to touch his base camp? And he called out to Quinn. I think even if Wano Kuni is invaded. The flag was replaced at the door. But the interior should not have been breached. The strong under him are cloudy. How can it really be completely taken down by someone? He didn't believe it. His voice just now has been heard throughout Wano Kuni. But did not wait for Quinn's response. This made Kaido's heart sink. That flag seems to belong to the madman who killed the celestial dragons. Kaido may not pay much attention to Ren, a rising star. But Ember can do everything. Keep everything in mind. Allies. Kaido's eyes had an icy glow like never before. Just as he swam less than 100 meters away, he saw that Wano Kuni was all heading towards his coastline. It suddenly lit up with a dazzling golden light, even during the day. It's also extremely dazzling. What? Ember frowned slightly. The next moment, his face changed dramatically. That golden light swept in like an entire cloud. But look closely, what kind of clouds is this? But millions of bullets, shells, missiles. Because it's too dense and huge. It looks like rolling golden clouds. Ember and Kaido's faces changed slightly at the same time. They debuted for so many years. Never before has it faced such intensive fire. Like the Emperor of 10,000 fires. Bullets, shells are like forming a wave. Sweeping from the sky. Crouch. As I expected, Wano Kuni must have undergone some kind of drastic change. and according to the information I have gathered, the flag currently planted in Wano-kuni should be the Allied flag that made a lot of noise a few days ago. Not far away, Morgans flapped his wings excitedly. In his humble empty boat. At the moment, there is a video phone bug. Many underground forces are broadcasting the current situation on Kaido's side. Meanwhile, many underground world-famous powerhouses and legendary pirates all gathered on Aqua Star Island. When Roger didn't find Raftel, it was once considered the end of the Grand Line. Many are looking for Raftel's forces and powerhouses in the vicinity. The island is often used as a supply point to see the war between Whitebeard and Marine headquarters. Many famous and powerful people gathered here early. For example, the King of Usury, Queen of the Pleasure District, the world's richest Golden Emperor Tezzolo, the King of Shipping. Formerly Rock's pirate Akoku, Silver Axe, Ghost Mother-in-law, even Aunt Four Emperors is here to join in the fun. This is the Devil's Island that even Marine dare not easily set foot in. It is the strongest and largest lawlessness in the world. At this moment, the underground live broadcast initiated by the News Bird King. It has attracted the attention of many people. Because of this guy Morgans often brings breaking news. It's not the Beast's Pirates flag anymore, I thought it was a gimmick from the Morgans guy. Tezzolo sat on a solid gold chair. The hole is also quite golden, and the fingers rub against the gold ring. Said lightly with an arrogant tone. Suddenly started broadcasting. I thought that the guy from Whitebeard and Marine fought in advance, but I didn't expect that it was just someone who invaded Kaido's base camp, which was somewhat discouraged, and the newcomer who just became famous, just didn't know that the sky was high and the earth was thick. Queen of the Pleasure District Stussy carries a small bag. Like an elegant aristocratic lady, judging everything on the screen. The original interns are now riding on our heads, and the world is impermanent. Akoku, who was carrying a long sword, sighed slightly. Mama, I'm not happy to see you, Akoku, Silver Axe. The aunt looked at the two middle-aged strong men with murderous intent. To each other, I'm not happy to wait to go out and do a fight. That's exactly what it means. That guy from Kaido has been very domineering over the years. Not human-like, the elderly ghost mother-in-law said with a mouthful of missing teeth and gloomime. What's that? Golden clouds, the able. Nope, it's shells and bullets. Hey, just kidding. With such intensive firepower, how many troops will it take to launch? The shipping king is short in stature and wears a captain's hat. Seeing this at this moment, he said in great shock. Haven't you ever had contact with such a guy before? The lone shark smoked a cigar and looked around and asked. Here are basically the giants of all the underground forces and the dark forces of pirates. Only a very few people did not come. Logically, if the Allies want to develop, especially if you want a large number of weapons, it is inseparable from them. Available before Ren's bounty. They had never heard of such a number one. Even the well-informed guy from Morgans doesn't know what news we can have. This guy hides really deeply, and his style is crazy, but this time when I meet the monster Kaido, good luck has come to an end. Tezzolo added lightly. That's not necessarily, even if Kaido is not in Wano-kuni, but can plant a flag in the base camp, it means that the island may be controlled. The reason why that guy in Kaido can become 4 emperors, control so many territories, those subordinates have made a great contribution, which shows that this allies should have some strength. This firepower alone, everyone here, even if you gather all the troops, you may not be able to send it out. Having said that, no matter how many of these conventional weapons there are, can they still kill Kaido? Good. Since everyone is not convinced, then this time it will be up to me to sit in the village. Mama, I bet with 3 devil fruits that the allies on the island will be wiped out by Kaido today. Aunt said with a smile. Rich and dangerous, I bet that the allies can win, just a billion Bailey little play. The lone shark said. He was not optimistic about the allies. Rather, there is opposition, and this gamble can be promoted. If you can see Kaido's true strength this time, it will be worth the trip. Silver Axe said lightly that he didn't bet. Last time you were defeated by that guy from Kaido? Akoku asked bluntly. Silver Axe's face was gloomy and gloomy. Learn to shut up if you can't speak. Akoku smiled faintly, disapproving. Tezzolo, who are you going to buy to win? Queen of the Pleasure District Stussy looked at Tezzolo and asked. No matter what, The Allies are only a new force, but Kaido's monster has been at large for many years. Even if Wano Kuni is taken, it is because Kaido is not there, and now that Kaido is back, it should be the Allies who suffer. Quote. Tezzolo. Such an analysis, recognized by most people, think Kaido was just caught off guard. Now that they are back, the Allies are bound to suffer a big loss. A new force, they don't believe they can be stronger than the four emperors. Four emperors are the top powerhouses that even they recognize. If everyone buys Kaido to win, this bet will be boring. I buy the Allies to win. Jabba, I didn't expect you to come to join in the fun this time, right? Whitebeard used to be close to you. Roger Pirates came to give him a ride. Ha ha ha, Silver Axe said with a smile. What are you happy about? You've been beaten by Whitebeard, Jabba said lightly. Silver Axe's laughter stopped abruptly, and his face sank slightly. The one who survives to the end is the winner. You've been beaten by Whitebeard. Dragon, you've been beaten by Whitebeard. Too much deception. Lao Su will slaughter you today. Silver Axe pulls the axe, and Jabba pulls the axe. If you want to fight, go out and fight. Kaido, do it. Don't bother me to collect intelligence. Someone spoke up to stop it. This is how a bloody battle was avoided. Everyone's eyes are back on the live screen. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.